Hello.
Hello. I
Hello.
already started it, so it's already live, so you guys know.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Not last.
So we're already live. We got Billy, Tice. I think Amy's coming. Dan was here, but he left because he got to take a shower because he smells like shit.
Always.
Always. Yeah, he's constantly smelling like shit. He has to take showers like 20 times a day to try to prevent that.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Shit is gross.
Yeah.
What do we got?
What's
on the agenda?
showing up. I need to open up the chat and
We're just waiting for Amy to steamroll
Yeah.
us.
to steamroll. And post a link around so that people know
Yeah.
that we are streaming. Pop out chat, take the link, and I guess we could just bullshit. So Dan said sending the link to Ethan. He's always talking about earlier that every time he gets a Google Hangout link from us, he's tempted to not show up and give it to Ethan so that he crashes the stream.
I'm from Arizona.
Yeah, from Arizona. What are you guys streaming about? I would like to join.
The dude from Small Wonder. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
Ethan-
shit. I forgot about Small Wonder. Yeah, remember when there was like a myth that the kid from Small Wonder,
yes.
Oregon. Yeah,
Oregon.
yeah. There was also a
What's his face is Marilyn Manson.
yeah,
Two
the kid
people.
from Doogie Howser's friend. Yeah.
No. Small
Wonder Years.
Wonder Years, Paul, and the kid from Mr. Belvedere, the older brother. That was another rumor that he was Marilyn Manson.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't think I heard that one. That's pretty funny though.
Terrible.
And you Discord, share your work.
It's so obvious that Paul from the Wonder Years was not him.
Oh yeah, obviously.
He looks stupid as fuck.
It's just the nose, I guess. That's the only similarities between them. They look nothing alike except they have that similar nose.
And like you could look up the guy now, the other one, whatever his name is. I forget his name.
From small,
Josh something.
but I always remember the Billy Corgan one. When I was a kid, I believed it because it looked not a kid, but teenager. I was like, oh yeah, it does look like him, so I kind of believed it. But then,
People are like, what the fuck is Small Wonder?
yeah,
Well,
people don't know what that is.
Amy's Hangouts isn't really working, she says. Keeps crashing.
What a
Apparently.
dumb broad.
Yeah. Does she even know how these things work?
Yeah, she's just too dumb for it.
She's blonde.
Volpez, do you have a way for me to contact you? I'll let you join if you would like to. Yeah, he's a fun
with
dude, man.
with
He
the
was
lovely
cracking me up.
voice.
I don't know if you watched Billy, but we had a stream. Amy had a stream where we just randomly put the link in places, and this guy
Yeah.
showed up and he's like disguising his voice. So he's like, "Hey guys, how are you doing?"
I thought it was Rogue fucking around.
Yeah, I thought it was too, but
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is actually somebody making a voice. Rogue's not making a voice. It sounds like that.
No, I thought it was Rogue making a voice.
Okay.
Oh, that would be horrendous.
Yo, man, that would be too high pitched. Probably break your ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Russian accent was terrible though. Whoever that was. The worst
typical-
Russian accent ever.
Oh yeah, it kept slipping. Volpez, all right, I'm gonna email you the link. Give me a minute, I'll let you know when it's done. See what Volpez has to say to us.
Volpez Ghost.
Let's go. That was great. I have to
Sounds-
email it to him, so now he's gonna have my email and he'll be able to stalk me. He'll get all my information.
What's that?
I don't know. I'm just fucking doing
I don't know that too.
That's it's actually a Smiths song. It's Charming Man from the Smiths. You're not a Smiths fan, so you probably don't. But Philip Anselmo is.
A lot of people are
Yeah,
from
yeah.
that generation.
Mm-hmm.
The people who were teens in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't a teen, but
No, we weren't. Like
but
that's why they're a little.
yeah.
little
To be
different
honest,
than us.
I didn't like them when I was a kid, and I grew appreciation for them when I was in my teens in the 90s. And I would listen to the backlog. I was talking to Amy about that earlier, how much I love 80s music now, but in the 80s, I didn't like it and thought it all sucked. You know, it wasn't until I was a teenager and went back to listen to it that I was like, oh, actually, some of these songs are pretty fucking good. Like,
It's different.
yeah, there was a lot of unique stuff in the 80s.
So now you can go, oh, back in my day, music was
Yeah.
way better.
Yeah. Oh, growing up in the 80s, I listened to past music, right? Like 50s, 60s, and 70s. I didn't like the current music.
Yeah, I've got some like some songs from the past I definitely enjoy, especially like non-Dutch music, because Dutch music mostly sucks. But you know, the good ones I enjoy greatly. Hey Chris, what's up? Hi everyone, by the way. Hi John. Hi Tony.
Yeah, hey everybody. Volpez, I sent you the link. Should be in your email soon.
He says he's got to take a shit first.
Just watch Cobra Kai, by the way. So much better than the movies. That's how he would say it if he was in here. Alpha, just watch it. A new zombie movie with Martin Freeman in the lead. Oh, I saw the trailer for that and it looks really good. Was it good, John? I did see the trailer.
Who the fuck is Martin Freeman?
The guy who plays the Hobbit.
Oh,
Bilbo Baggins, and he was also in the British Office. He's in the Marvel movies too.
okay.
He's in Black Panther. He's like a government agent or whatever.
Oh, that's him. Yeah.
Yeah. He plays the Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins.
Oh yeah, now I remember.
But I saw a trailer for that movie. It looked good. It was good, not great. Okay, still worth checking out. Good is I don't have a problem with good. I like good. So Amy's Hangouts app keeps crashing. She even restarted her phone and it's still crashing. So she might have to join us a little later when she gets done with the GM.
What's Huffington
when did
Post
she meet
got?
him?
When did she meet him?
Terrible joke. Sorry.
I didn't even get it.
Jim.
Oh, Jim. I get it. She's done with Jim.
Hit the car crash sound.
Which is funny because I make that joke myself and I still didn't get it. I was like, is that what you call well, like going to the gym? Is that like what you call getting laid or something? Like, who's this gym guy? I'm jealous. Why are you going?
It wasn't innuendo.
Yes.
He's John Watson from Sherlock as well on the BBC. Yeah, I'd never watched that show, so I didn't realize. With the guy who plays Doctor Strange, whatever his name is.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, Benedict Cumbersnatch. Yes.
Cunter Snatch.
Cunter Snatch. Wow.
You just keep getting it, making it worse and worse. Right?
Fucking
Volpez, you coming in? Maybe I messed up. I did that with Billy before.
Nice, he's gotta do some shit.
Oh, he's got to take a shit first. Okay, yeah.
What was that? Did you forget the .com or something?
Yeah. That was. I forgot who was that with, and I forgot to put the .com.
Yeah, someone else.
I think it was me.
Yeah. And I'm like, I sent it. It's not working.
It's weird though, because you had done it before all the other times. Normal.
Yeah. Oh, but it was just that time I was copying and pasting. Somebody put it in the Hangout. So let me look through the internet and see if we find a good article.
Salon.
Salon. That's a good one. Salon always has the most fucked up articles. That's like, what? Are you guys retarded? I think they were the ones who said that Black Panther was the most diverse Marvel movie after saying that it's 90%. 98% African, like black.
That's what diverse means.
The diverse means not white. No,
yeah. To them, that's what it seems like it means. Right? The Amazons were based on real life women warriors who were cool as hell.
Oh, real life. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The Amazons are real.
Yeah, right.
They are real now.
You don't know this shit, or
Fuck.
Yeah, Wonder Woman also existed.
Salon. Salon website. Wonder Woman.
Oh,
Also.
you're really going on Salon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on it right now.
Oh God.
Let's see. Let me screen share so people can
I
see.
mean, if you want to hold, use that myth as a standard, or as something to work up to look up to and work towards, then sure. I mean, fine, but then don't expect it to be something real.
I want to be a 7 foot tall.
Amazonians
wanted to be a Spartan.
They would cut off a breast, so they only had one breast.
Oh,
and it was
kinky.
it had to do with shooting arrows and stuff. Like the breast would get in the way when they pull back the string, so they cut it off.
Oh wow.
Yeah, true story.
Damn.
It's pragmatic.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's not a true story.
It's kind of a true story.
It's a mythical story, so it's mythically true.
We have proof of this.
Were you there?
I like how, yeah, right. If it's not observable, it didn't happen. I like how the first thing you see is Donald Trump. Trump now going after birth control.
Even after there's been a horrific school shooting just a while ago, Trump.
Yeah.
Hide your kids, hide your birth control.
Donald Glover, genius or just smart? Who gives a shit? Like, what kind of a
I have not watched that, and I refuse to, because
me too.
I watched it. It's just meh, whatever. I don't see the big deal on it. Let's see. UN Human Rights Chief Lambastus. Yeah, it just looks weird, right? It's a weird looking
Lambastus.
It looks like it's a person's name, like his name is Chief Lambastus.
It looks like a Spanish fucking word.
Human Rights Chief Yambastes.
Chief Lambastus. Oh yeah, well it would be
capital I, yeah.
Yeah. Yambastus.
Yambastes Israel, that's his name.
Yambastus Israel. Yeah, definitely I can see it.
Yeah, so the UN Human Rights Chief Yambastes Israel is for the Gaza protest killings.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to read here.
Bill Gates says, oh, God damn it. I didn't want to maximize that because I'm looking at this chat too. Bill Gates says Donald Trump asked him whether there's a difference between HPV and HIV. Like, what? That can't be real. I'm going to click this. Let's see what this says. There's no way that can be real.
Where would Bill Gates just said this somewhere?
What? Microsoft head recalls 2 bizarre meetings with Trump, who made remarks about Gates' daughter's appearance. Oh. Like, your daughter looks like she got HIV.
Or HPV.
Or HPV, yeah. What's the difference? Yeah, that's probably what happened. President Donald Trump asked Bill Gates whether HPV and HIV were the same thing twice. The billionaire Microsoft co-founder said at a recent meeting for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, according to
wait a second. Did Bill Gates say that twice, or did Trump ask him twice?
Yeah, that's weird. Hey, Mike, what's up, man? Good to see you here, Mike. I'm gonna give you. Mike's gonna get a modded.
He's gonna get a wench.
Yeah, he's gonna get a wrench. A wench.
He's gonna be able to go MMA on people's asses.
Oh yeah, so
give out wenches instead of wrenches.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be better. Yeah.
So, Mike, if you see anybody acting up, give them a rear naked choke.
Out. But just digitally though.
Yeah, digitally. Put that wrench around their neck and choke them out.
Bend it around.
Ooh, ban time. Maybe this was not a good idea. He's just gonna ban everybody for no reason.
Just no more viewers. Everyone gets banned.
Yeah, no more viewers. Everyone's banned. He's wrench hungry. Stop him. Gates was responding to questions from staff and described 2 meetings he had with the president after he was elected, adding that Trump spoke in the third person. What? Donald does not like this. Offered scary. Oops. Sorry, I just skipped. And offered scary observations about Gates' daughter's appearance. MSNBC aired the footage Thursday night on blah, 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 blah. Gates said he had never met Trump prior to this election, but had met with him twice since, in December 2016, March 2017. There was a thing where he and I were at the same place before the election. I avoided him. Then he got elected, so then I went to see him in December. Gates said his daughter, Jennifer, had encountered Trump before. He knew my daughter, Jennifer, because Trump has this horse show thing down in Florida. Horse show thing. He went up and talked. Yeah, he's just like, yeah, whatever.
His interest in his daughter is interesting.
Yeah, something his daughter's
high as fuck.
he knows nothing about. He's like, yeah, this horse show thing in Florida. I don't know. My daughter's into it. Whatever. He went up and talked to Jen and was being super nice. And then around 20 minutes later, he flew in on a helicopter to the same place. So clearly had been driven away, and he wanted to make a grand entrance.
wow.
So he got there, drove like 20 minutes away to come back in a helicopter.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know about this. This seems so weird. Apparently, Jennifer's appearance became a talking point in Gates' first meeting with the president. It was actually kind of scary how much he knew about my daughter's appearance. Melinda did not like that too well. Maybe he wanted to fuck her. I don't know. He's like, hey, hey, daughter's Jennifer. Yeah, she got a nice ass. I'd like to bill in her Gates.
No,
Gates in her bill.
In their first meeting at Trump Tower, Gates said he advised Trump to be a leader in driving science and innovation, and they talked broadly about topics related to energy, health, and education. He said that he suggested Trump take a big project like advancing an HIV vaccine. Their second meeting took place in the White House. In both of those meetings, he asked me if vaccines weren't a bad thing because he was considering a commission to look into ill effects of vaccines. And somebody, Robert Kennedy Jr., was advising him the vaccines were causing bad things. And I said, no, that is a dead end. That would be a bad thing. Do not do that.
Good.
Yeah, these idiots with these vaccine shits.
Yeah.
Both times he wanted to know if there was a difference between HIV and HPV. And so I was able to explain that those are things that are rarely confused with each other. He continued to loud laughter from the audience. Okay. The human papillomavirus was one of the most commonly blah, 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 blah. We know what they are. It seems Trump did not take Gates' advice. In his administration's 2018-2019 proposed budgets, it recommended substantial cuts to programs that treat and prevent HIV and AIDS, among them a $40 million reduction to the Centers of Disease Control and Preventions, blah, 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 cut back on HIV, basically. The original proposal were not passed by Congress. In his final description of his interaction with the president, Gates said, when I walked in, his first sentence, oh my God, this thing started.
So annoying.
Oh, that was really loud and annoying. No, stop. Stop. No, it won't insistent. Stop. I hate
private golf lounge
fucking videos, man. Mike said I have Amy HPV.
Wait, how do you have HPV? How does it work? Yeah, Amy, it sucks. I know.
She has the human penis virus. In this final description of his interaction with the president, Gates said, when I walked in, his first sentence kind of threw me off. He said, Trump hears that you don't like what Trump is doing. Like, what? I don't believe he talks like this. Nah. I think no way. Either that or he's fucking with Bill Gates. Like, you know, he's like trolling him or something.
Elmo says.
And I thought, wow, but you are Trump, he added. So I didn't know if the third party form was what was expected. Well, you know, Gates says Gates knows you're not doing things right. Weird.
Fucking. Yeah.
Is that the end of the article? Yeah, that's a weird way to end an article. But
yeah. Yeah.
That whole thing seems really shady, right? It seems really weird.
Yeah, seems pointless.
Sort of half made up.
It also seems pointless.
It doesn't seem. Oh no, it wasn't headline one, but still, I thought it was the headline one for a second.
So weird. There's a sudden spike in high-profile anti-Hispanic incidents, but why?
Oh.
Somebody wants me and Billy dead. Beaner! Look, the cup says Beaner! Oh my God, dude, I wouldn't even be mad if somebody wrote Beaner. I would laugh so hard. I couldn't be mad. That shit would just be hilarious to me. Amy, your Hangouts is still crashing? That fucking bitch.
It's not working.
Second. Let's see. Just seeing who's around, if anybody else wanted to get invited. Still waiting on that Volpez dude to see if he comes in.
Yeah, that's a
those
big
MS-13 animals. Yeah, he said that was
lying right here, right?
Who in this article?
The second paragraph.
Oh, no, let's read from the beginning. Blah blah blah. There has been a noted rise in high profile. What makes it high profile? Anti-Hispanic incidents this week. It's hard to avoid concluding that it's not very high profile. I haven't even heard this, right? Like, it's hard to avoid concluding that when you elect a president who kicked off his campaigns with speech claiming that undocumented Mexican immigrants are murderers and rapists, this is what you get. He didn't exactly say it that way, but all right. That President Donald Trump was one of this week's perpetrators, delivering a speech in which he used the term animals when discussing the problem of undocumented immigrants. Yeah, that is a lie. He specifically said that about MS-13.
What a coincidence, by the way, that just as Trump says this, there's a bunch of regressive YouTube channels like Vox and other channels like that all of a sudden put out videos talking about MS-13 being victims.
Oh yeah, if they think MS-13 are victims, I grew up with MS-13 around here, but they all got chased out. But they are no joke. Like MS-13 is fucked up.
I don't think they're victims.
If these guys think they're the victims, they're fucking retarded. Like they've never experienced gangs.
They don't have generational wealth, bro.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Yeah, well,
They have no choice but to gang it up.
yeah, but they can't get up. That doesn't even work because the whole thing is MS-13 sends gang members, so they're already MS-13 before they come. Right?
It's not their fault for being a gang member.
Fault. They didn't have generational wealth in El Salvador, so we have people coming into the country or trying to come in, and we're stopping a lot of them, but we're talking people out of the country, obviously. You wouldn't believe how bad those people are. These aren't people, they are animals. And we're taking them out of the country at a level and at a rate that's never happened before. How do you get that being just a generalization on undocumented immigrants?
Yeah.
Even reading this, where he wasn't talking specifically who he's stating specifically who he's talking to, it's obvious that he's talking about specific people coming into the country, not just every immigrant. That's
I think whoever
say during the meeting who.
Yeah. I mean, whoever wrote clearly has none of us are fans of Trump, but whoever wrote this clearly has some implicit bias against Trump and just wants to read into everything he says.
Yeah, Mike, you can thank CNN according to CNN. Yeah. Also, Vulpes, once you get back, let me know. Jump in. Well, jump in whenever you're ready. When some people have defended Trump, including the author of the CNN article, I guess they defended him, by noting that he was referring to members of the MS-13 gang rather than all undocumented. Damn, I fucking that up.
Bro. All.
Yeah, obviously it's funny how they're saying they're defending him. No, that's what he was saying. It's not it's a correction, really. The reality remains that he used a dehumanizing term for fucking gang members who are murdering and raping people and chopping arms off and shit. Like what?
Respect their humanity.
Yeah, fuck you.
Bunch of idiots. One that has a long history of racialized. Oh God. Now you can't use words that may have been used on people in the past to somebody called this guy this 100 years ago, so now we can't use it anymore. It's so ridiculous, right? To refer to members of a non-white group, of course, non-white. This arguably normalizes the idea that it is acceptable to use racial insults against members of a minority if they commit crimes or engage in antisocial behavior.
Why? You weren't using
calling people animals is not a racial insult.
But that's the point. Like, she even acknowledged that. She was just like, doing this and calling people animals who are, shitty. Yep. And then, but it's a racial insult. Like, out of nowhere, just let's tie it to racial insults.
Yeah, it's always racial. Right.
You normalize, drinking soda that makes it normalize racist soda or something. Like I don't know. It's just a stupid. It's really stupid.
They just
it's just a leapfrog. Let's leap to this. Like
they find a weird way to attach race to something that's obviously like. It's meant to like he probably means just the gang members.
Yeah, he's not calling them animals because of their color of their skin. He's calling them animals because of the way they behave.
Since they are a different skin color, then we can jump to racism.
Yep.
That's how we tie it to racism.
Yeah.
If P then Q, but with
Yeah.
like this and then race for some reason.
Yeah.
You add this, or subtract this, divide by that, and race.
This sentence is funny because it's like this arguably normalized the idea that it is acceptable to use racial insults against members of minority if they commit crimes or engage in antisocial behavior.
Even though he
word.
didn't use a racial insult, he just used a humanizing insult.
Yeah, the key word in that last sentence is arguably. Yes, very arguably.
Yeah. Trump, for what it's worth, has been characteristically unapologetic. He should be. I mean, I'm not even a Trump fan, but yeah, he should be unapologetic. That's not what he meant. You guys. And then he wrote, he's quoted as saying, "I'm referring, and you know I'm referring to the
And then he said it, but we'll
to the
ignore
MS-13 gangs that are coming in. We have laws that are laughed at on immigration. So when the MS-13 comes in, when the other gang members come into our countries, I refer to them as animals. And guess what? I always will. I don't blame them.
Good, yeah.
MS-13's rough. They're fucking tearing up Long Island, and they're trying to crack down on them. They've been capturing a lot of them and deporting them, but they're going nuts in Long Island right now, or have been for the last couple of years. Another high-profile incident occurred on Tuesday when I was in high school, they were starting to grow here. They were coming to my high school. There was like gang members around trying to like recruit people for MS-13, but the police in my town went fucking nuts on fucking getting them out, and then they just left because they couldn't really do anything. Another high-profile incident occurred on Tuesday when Aaron Schlossberg, what a name, a New York lawyer, was recorded berating employees and customers at a Manhattan eatery for speaking Spanish in his presence. All right. Your staff is
just took a random person. Like, look, a random person told some fucking random people they should speak English.
It's a high-profile incident, but
let's link it to Trump somehow.
But he's just a New York lawyer. Like, you know how many lawyers are in New York?
Exactly. Like, some fucking rich boy at a restaurant said this.
So funny.
Holy shit.
Just a rich Jew who told people to speak another language. Well, another thing you could do is just not pay attention to the guy and just go on with your day.
I was actually talking to Devin about this recently because I saw, that Twitter Now This, and they post little videos and try to make things about race. Well, there was some guy, it was a black guy, right? And he was doing he does inspections of homes. So he went to a home to do an inspection, and the white lady came out, and she was probably racist. She came out and said, "What are you doing here? Get out of our neighborhood, this and that." So she said, "If you don't leave, I'm going to call the police." So he was like, "Yeah, go ahead." So she called the police. The police came and said, "Yeah, there's nothing we could do. You got to let them in your house to do the inspection." And that's it. That's the end of story.
Systemic.
And I was like, why is
racism came and helped him out somehow?
I'm like, how is this a story? Like
all that story shows is that she made an ass out of herself.
It's like, oh, there's a random woman living in a
exactly. Oh, there's a random racist possibly.
Obviously,
I can videotape thousands of racist black teenagers a day. I could sit on a city bus every day and record 10,000 racist fucking black kids.
Yeah, and it's like
in an instant, and it's acceptable. So
is it really news that there's random nobody racist people out there? Like nobody gives a shit. It's what are you gonna do about it? You're not gonna end racism. That doesn't happen.
Alf, I'm gonna have to dip out. Sorry.
That's cool, man.
I couldn't stay long, but have a good one, guys.
You too, man. See you, Billy. Thanks for coming on.
See you later.
Later, man. It's just me and the sexy Dutch man.
Hello. Oh, is that me you're talking about? Oh, nice.
But I'm saying this is kind of doing the same thing. They took a random New York lawyer and they're saying, "Oh, look, this guy's racist." Oh well, who gives a shit? Let him be racist as long as he's not breaking the law. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, sunlight is the best disinfectant, right? If you just show that this guy's if it turns out that he's racist, most other people are gonna shun him or are gonna tell him that he shouldn't be that way.
There's these little black squares showing up, and I can't read it. Do you see that, or is it just me? Or is it just
I can see that too.
It's so weird. I don't know what that is.
What the hell?
And now I can't read this part right here.
Is it like ads popping up, or
ads trying to pop up that are getting blocked or something? But I can't read this.
That's a weird form of ad block.
Yeah, it's been happening a lot recently when I go on these article pages. It's weird.
You're on Chrome, right?
Yeah.
So, and you have Google like ad blocker, or
no, I don't. Maybe I should.
Okay. Maybe you should get that. Yeah.
Something to look into.
Yeah.
So,
simple download. So,
this is what he said. Your staff is speaking Spanish to customers when they should be speaking English. Every person I listened to, he spoke He spoke it. He spoke it. She's speaking it. But like, are the customers Hispanics? Because then what's the problem?
Yeah, then it's good customer service, right?
Yeah, it's good customer service. I do that when people come to my job. I normally start in English, but if I realize they're uncomfortable or not good at speaking English, I'll switch to Spanish.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah. And normally they don't really know I'm Hispanic right away, so they keep trying really hard to speak English and it doesn't work. So I'll be like, so then I just respond in Spanish, and they're like, "Oh, you know, not a problem." Who's Alf chatting? It's Tice, Gangle. It's me and Tice.
It is I am Tice. Hello.
And,
you've heard my voice before.
Mike is slipping into Amy's DMs.
and other things of Amy's.
Gangle, let me know if you're free and you want to jump in.
Yeah, plenty of room. Man.
I'll send you a link. But let's continue here. Your staff is Oh, I read that already. In a cell phone video, yeah. Wow, they ended it there. In a cell phone video that rapidly went viral, Schlossberg,
yeah.
The individuals he had been haranguing, saying he would call ICE and get them deported from the country for speaking Spanish in a public space. I mean, you could try that, but most likely it's New York City, and I would bet that most of those people were probably citizens, or at least have a visa or something. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there are illegal immigrants in New York, but you're gonna find a shit ton of legal Hispanics in New York. Like, it's just,
but also, like, he's a lawyer, right? So he knows that speaking a language isn't really
no, yeah, he knows
criminal. Yeah,
he knows. He was probably just drunk and belligerent or something.
Yeah.
Oh, he says here, my guess is they're not documented, and you'd probably be wrong on 90% of those people.
Yep.
So my next call is to ICE to have each one of them kicked out of my country. I mean, if I was in there speaking Spanish, he'd be wrong. I was born in this country, an American citizen. Yep. ICE would have came and I'd be like, yeah, I was born here, and they'd be like, oh.
And he would have, again, like the lady in the previous story, he would have made an ass of himself.
Yeah. No problem, Gangle. It's cool. If they have the balls to come here and live off my money, I pay for their welfare. I pay for their ability to be here. How do you know they're on welfare? This guy's retarded.
Wait, who's he talking about here? Because he was like the people who work there were speaking Spanish. So is he talking about the customers or the people?
Yeah,
who
that's
work
a
there?
good point. The customers obviously have a job, so they're not on welfare.
And then the people who are working there also obviously have a job, right? So who's he talking about here?
That's weird. If they have, I can't read that. I pay for their ability to be here. The least they can do is speak English. I mean, it depends when you come here. It's easier to learn a language when you're a child, but if you come as an adult, it's really difficult. My stepfather came from Peru, but he came like when he was like in his 50s, you know, so it's really hard for him to speak English. But I mean, he tries. He's been trying for years, and he picks up things here and there, but it's really difficult for him to learn it.
Yeah,
I mean, trying. I mean, for me, I think all I would ask is at least people try to learn English, you know.
Yeah, and also
learn this, and you have to learn it because not everybody.
It's not as simple as that, is it?
Yeah, it's not, especially with language.
Also, if you're like second or third generation, and at some point you do like have to learn the language, and also maybe promote or support your kids in studying the native language or the language of the country you live in. So, for instance, there's people here in the Netherlands who are like fourth generation, whose grandparents came here from Morocco or Turkey, and these people generally speak Dutch really, really badly, and it's like, and that's the Polish people who also come here and just speak Polish, and their kids also just speak Polish.
Wow,
so
that's
really hampers their integration as well.
Here, it's like if you're here, it's like first generation people here always speak English, and they always speak it really well. There's no that doesn't really happen where someone's born here and doesn't speak English or something.
Yeah, some people also try and speak English here, which is fine because most Dutch people do speak English, of course. But and I'm fine with that too. But there's people like my parents, for instance. My mom really also like English isn't good enough for her. She just wants people to speak Dutch too, but which sort of makes sense, especially if you live here for as long as some people have, like 10 years, and they still don't speak like a word of Dutch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I do agree that people should learn the native language to a country you move to, but I don't expect everyone to learn it. I just expect them to try, to at least give it a shot. I know it's difficult because languages aren't super easy to learn. Like, especially past the age of development and shit.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Way easier when you're younger. This guy should know better. When you're an attorney, you're telling your clients what you should say and how you should conduct yourself, where in the Constitution or law does it say that in a public space that you can't use another language other than English. And then to add insult to injury, he threatens to harass these people that he will call ICE. Yeah, he's probably just in a bad mood and flipped out. Whatever. I honestly, as a Hispanic person myself, don't give a shit.
Yep. Oh, here's the link to Trump, by the way. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say that if this happened in front of me, I would just laugh at the dude. Like I wouldn't even take it seriously. I would just straight up laugh at him. Yeah, and be like, "Damn, you're stupid," and laugh.
Don't pay him any attention. I probably would have thought he was drunk or something. Because
yeah, that's what I'd be thinking. I'd be like, he's just another belligerent asshole. Who cares though? You know how many people we have in this country? You're bound to run into fucking assholes. Like,
yeah, obviously,
it's not a big deal.
Especially especially if you're gonna actively look for them, like people writing these articles probably are.
Yeah, exactly. And even more New York City, which is densely populated. You know, it's like there's probably an asshole 2 feet from you every
right around the corner.
Yeah. And there's probably a racist like 5 feet away from you every single second of the day. You know, like it's just so full of people compact into a small space that you're bound to have these people. You know,
all kinds of people.
Yeah, it's not news. Schlossberg is reportedly a Trump supporter. There you go. That's where the link.
There's the
link.
Having
donated $500.
$500 entire dollars.
That's nothing. How is this high profile? This dude only donated $500.
This can hardly be considered surprising. Oh wow!
Oh, God, yeah, because there's no racist people who don't like Trump, of course.
Yeah, confirmation bias much.
Finally, there was an incident on Wednesday when a Latino man at a Starbucks store in Los Angeles was targeted with a racial slur on his coffee. A customer who only referred to himself as Pedro says that he ordered 2 cups of coffee and both had the term beaner printed on the side. I'm sorry, but that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I said, if somebody wrote beaner on my cup, I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be laughing so hard.
These people's feelings, man. They're paper napkins.
Yeah, basically. Pedro said he didn't think it was an accident because the barista had called his name once his order was done, according to the TV station. He claimed the offer of a $50 gift card, which he called insulting but he's scheduled to meet with Starbucks officials. Damn, I wouldn't even take it that far.
Yeah, but you're going to decline a $50 gift card and then you are going to meet with Starbucks officials.
Yeah,
what do you want out of this?
Way more than $50, I'm betting. Yeah. I'm betting that's why he called it insulting. He's like, "You're gonna give me $50 for calling me a beaner."
You hurt my feelings.
Like I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I might come. I probably wouldn't complain because it's not that bad. But say they did do something even worse and called me something like asshole and wrote on it or something. The most I would do is maybe complain. That's it. Yep. Like, yeah, one of your employees called me an asshole. What's up with that?
Yeah, get him in check. Yeah.
Yeah, like you should probably not have him do that. And that's about it. I wouldn't even care about getting a gift card or nothing. I just complain and leave. That's it.
I mean,
yeah, go on. Or I'd handle it myself and just go off on the dude myself and be like, "Oh, you're a faggot." How about that?
Just get your coffee somewhere else. Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah. What's up, Travis?
Who's there? Hey, Carter. Hey, Travis. What's up, guys?
Carter, what's up? Yes, I am a fuck bitch because I fuck bitches.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I don't even want to gift card or nothing. I wouldn't even gift card you. Starbucks said in an email that company officials met with the customer Thursday morning at one of the local stores and that he accepted their apology. This kind of mistake is unacceptable, and we will take additional steps. Shit like that too is people love to. Like, you know, one employee does something and people love to be like, Starbucks is racist, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, dude, you're hiring people that you're not going to know if they're racist or not. Obviously, you're not going to go into an interview and be like, yeah, you know, I'm a hard worker. I'm a bit of a racist. And, you know, like,
I'm a racist on the side. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, nobody's going to know these things, man. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Like I said, you complain, they'll handle it. That's it.
Yeah.
Now they know that employee is doing things that, you know, counterproductive and not working well for them. So then they get rid of them. It's easy as that. It's easy enough to condemn each of these individual incidents on their own terms. The president shouldn't refer to human beings as animals, no matter what they've allegedly done. I disagree with that 100%. You should be able to call people what they are.
Yep, especially if they behave like animals.
It's like if you have like a black gang member who's been chopping people in half, you can't call them savage. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a savage thing to do, to go around and chop people in half.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what his skin color is. It's a savage act. You know.
Yeah,
you can call him savage.
then it's more racist of these guys, like the author does right
Yeah.
here, to focus in on the race. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
literally didn't say anything about the race, right?
Yeah, it's actually kind of a good point. Where what if they're Italian mobsters and he called them animals? Well, I bet this article would not be here. You know what I'm saying?
How
It's
about a
only an issue
redneck?
because he called a non-white person animal. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's the point that makes it racist. Like you're giving special treatment to a certain race, basically.
Yeah. Which
Because you're
makes it
saying, oh, you
racist,
can't
know?
call Hispanics animals, but you can call white people animals. That's fine. Like, that's
Yep.
pretty racist. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
No one has the right to berate others for speaking whatever language they want in public. They have the right. It's not a correct thing to do, but they do have the right. I mean,
Mhm.
you have the right. It's free speech. Yeah, you have the right to do whatever you want. If you don't like being berated for that, you can walk away or you can strike back. You know, in
Yeah.
a
Like,
verbal way.
One right these people, these social justice warriors, usually forget is the right to not be offended, the right to just not give a fuck about
Yeah,
whatever
not give a
someone
fuck.
else says about
Yeah.
you.
Or even better, you can laugh at him and continue to speak Spanish, and he can literally can do nothing about it. So,
Mhm. Yeah, speak
what's
Spanish
the
into his
problem, right?
face. Yeah.
Who cares about? Yeah, these people are so weird. Who cares about words? Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Just keep doing what you're doing and laugh it off. That's it.
Mhm. Yep.
And he's gonna, and really, that's gonna make him even more pissed because he knows he can't do anything about it. You know,
Yeah.
except be there and talk belligerently. You know,
Yeah,
people who use casual racial slurs ought to be condemned, but nobody here used any racial slurs, even
a racial
casually or non-casually. Yeah, nobody used it.
Mhm.
But when it comes to the Hispanic community, the intolerance has been that has been highlighted this week. What intolerance has been baked right into the brand of Trump's America? The only thing I see wrong out of all of this is that guy being a dick. You know, that's basically it. But but even in what they quoted him, he never used any racial slur. Animal is not a racial slur.
Yep.
Animal is a description of the way people behave, you know, in general.
Yep. Yeah. And it was a correct description because they did behave like that.
They even talk about historically, right? When were Hispanic people historically called animals? I've never heard that.
No, neither have I.
I don't know. I think they're adding their own fucking. Oh, we're gonna recon history and add this in.
Just change history
retroactively.
Yeah. History books are gonna, everything's gonna be about the poor minorities.
Oh god. But when it okay, I read that already. Baked right into the brand of Trump's America.
Like baked beans. Oh shit.
These guys are so extreme, man.
Yeah.
It explains the little tidbit from Pew Hispanic that was released in 2017, 1 month after Trump's presidency. About half, 54% of Hispanics say they are confident about their place in America after Trump's election, while 4 in 10 Hispanics, 41%, say they have serious concerns about their place in America. So they're saying the majority of Hispanics are okay. Don't have a problem with this.
Yeah, so 54. Yeah, so the majority are.
Yeah, the majority, 54% say. The numbers don't even add up. So there's a small percentage they're not adding in here. I wonder what those people say. I bet that maybe that's the percentage who say they love Trump as the president. Right?
And then also, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but that's your own fault. Right?
I love how they put this. About half, 54%, which is about half, but then 4 in 10 Hispanics, which is 41%. It's close, but it's weird. Yeah, why even put that there though, right? Like
the way they word it is like they could have also said more Hispanics are confident about their place than there's it's. I
just think it's strange they put the about half and 4 and 10 when you have the percentage there. Just write 54% of Hispanics. You know, you don't need about half or even to say 4 and 10. Just say 41% of Hispanics. You know?
Yeah. So saying their choice, their wording is so weird. So saying about half sort of diminishes the fact that it is more than 41%.
It's more than half. Yeah, it's not about
more than half.
It's over half.
50, it's more. Yeah, it's way more.
Yeah, that's actually incorrect. They should be saying over half.
Yeah.
Instead of about half.
Well, yeah, I
You
mean,
don't say
it's
about
still
100 when you're talking about 105. You say over 100, right?
Mm,
Like
yeah.
over 100 people say this, not about 100 people.
Well,
That's
technically, it's
even-
still
Correct. It is.
technically it's correct, but people in common usage, people don't use it like that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's kind
They,
of a
they
weird
obviously
thing.
chose to word it this way just to make it seem
Yeah.
as if more people are, but
But-
in fact, it's
yeah.
not that. That's not the case.
No,
It's
it's so
ugly.
weird.
Yeah, it's very biased
usually
reporting
a
here.
little over, a little over half that would be more accurate.
Yeah.
At least in this theory, the United States is a nation built on mutual respect and tolerance. Not really, but in the most literal sense, a nation of immigrants. Yeah, that's kind of right, but not completely. I know they say a nation of immigrants, but technically, the immigrants who came here created the nation, so they technically weren't immigrants of the United States. They're the founders of the United States.
Yeah, and also, like, yeah, sure, and the nation was founded by immigrants, but does that mean that the border should just stay open for all immigrants to come in? Yeah, you're an immigrant, everyone. Yeah, that's not the way it works.
These incidents of anti-Hispanic prejudice over the week, two incidents. That's it. They only noticed two. And one wasn't really an incident. One was just Trump talking about gang members, not really immigrants, not really like they were very specific immigrants.
But Elf, they found two entire people who were raised.
This week has been rough. There's been 2 out of the 300 and something million people that live in this country. Like what? That's not even 1%.
It's way less. Well, you shouldn't ask the author of this article to calculate their percentages, because they're just going to say, well, about 1%, and they're going to call it quits there.
It's funny how they add this in here, though. Each of which was minor in itself. So who fucking cares if it's a minor incident? Who gives a shit? Make clear how much that vision of America is being tested by our current political and social crisis.
It's a political crisis
and social crisis. There's no social crisis except for the ones who are making for themselves. This loud fucking ads and shit.
The wording of this article, and probably more on this site, are just fucking hell.
Oh my god. Never mind democracy. U.S. media and politicians openly long for a coup in Venezuela. Yeah, they should. We do need a coup. They need to get rid of their leaders because they're fucking starving over there. I don't need employees. I don't need a store or warehouse. 19-year-old online entry. Yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah. He's an online entrepreneur with probably a loan of just a small loan of $1 million. And in a week he's gonna be bankrupt. But that's not part of the success story. Oh shit.
Recreational ancestry DNA testing may reveal more than customers bargained for. Here's one for Carter.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Let's see. Oh, great. This wasn't even originally published here. This article was originally published on The Conversation. They can't even write their own article.
So this may be a better article than the last one.
Yeah, maybe. Or worse. Who knows?
Maybe even worse. Oh, how could you fuck up science? Let's see.
Yeah. Aggressive marketing techniques and popularization of gifting recreational ancestry tests has led more customers than ever to the world of personal genetic testing. Yet the recent arrest of the Golden State Killer suspect has heightened concerns about privacy and ethics because of the way law enforcement used a third-party DNA interpretation company to identify close relatives and hone in on a likely culprit. I mean, if they're using it for that, I don't really mind. If they're using it to catch serial killers, I mean, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It sucks if they're using it for other things, that they probably shouldn't be using it for. But if there's no evidence of that, I don't see why there's an issue.
Exactly, yeah.
The company GED Match is well known among genetic. That's probably no, that's not is that the company you work for, Carter? Is well known among genetic genealogy enthusiasts. Oh, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say I think it's one of the letter to Ancestry DNA or 23andMe Carter works for. I forget which one though. Could be wrong, but go on.
When consumers want to learn more about their relatives than previously revealed by commercial testing companies. Oh yeah, this is deeper. Than companies such as Ancestry DNA and 23andMe, they can seek out third-party companies like this one for further interpretation of their DNA results. So I guess this company GED Match goes further than Ancestry and 23andMe.
No shit. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting congested a bit.
No worries.
But in addition to clues about where your ancestors were from, DNA holds information about your own medical risk. Here at the intersection of recreational genetic genealogy and personal health information is where direct-to-consumer companies are generating some unintended spillover effects that can have personal consequences consumers may not be prepared for. Yeah, what are they? I approach this area from the medical side. My own work focuses on how people use genomic information for personal health benefits. In particular, I've looked at when and how people decide to undergo genetic testing and how they understand and cope with their results. That's weird to me. Like, what do you mean cope with their results?
Yeah. So this stuff is actually, you would want to know about your genetic makeup because, so for instance, the hospital, like I study at a university that's got a hospital linked to it because you know it's got medicine and biomedical sciences studies, and that hospital right now is developing a way to connect like genetic knowledge of people to their pharmacology department. So that way, when some specialist wants to prescribe some kind of medication to one of their patients, they can put that into the system, and the system's going to spit out yes, so either a yes or a no to that medication. So, for instance, if a patient may suffer severe side effects based on their genetic makeup, then the doctor may want to prescribe something else, you know. If you get what if you understand what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So some people may have severe side effects based on whatever genetic makeup they have. So you would want to know your genetic makeup in that case. So in fact, it's better for you overall as a patient.
Yeah, it definitely works. There's things that you might be prone to because of your genetics. And what
exactly.
to avoid, maybe to not trigger that effect. You know.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so. You know, knowledge is power in that regard, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, Billy did a video on the Golden State Killer. If you guys haven't watched it, check those out. He did 2 videos on it. Pretty interesting. And he did slightly talk about how they caught him using the DNA testing and stuff. Mike says just wait until insurance companies use it to charge a premium. That's a possibility as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's the drawback of that. But then again, the system I just talked about is something that stays inside the hospital. It's something that's only for like pharmacies and hospitals to look into. So that's
if you do it in that way, it works well because the insurance companies won't be able to access that information.
Yeah. In fact, it's unlawful. It's criminal for businesses to access information like that.
Hey, Paul. Also, if you want to come on, Paul, let me know. I will send you a link. I always like talking to Paul. He's a good guy.
Yes, for sure.
The rise of direct. Did I read this part? Oh no, I ended on this one with cope. Yeah, cope with the results. The rise of direct-to-consumer genetic testing has led to a sometimes dodgy do-it-yourself world of genetics. It may provide access to personal genetic information for the masses, but in many cases, individuals aren't fully aware of all they may find out or how their data may be used. But I find it weird. Well, the data part being used, that I understand, but I find it weird about what you may find out. I mean, that's your genetics. What's wrong with what you may find out?
Yeah, well, that's of course like being naive is sometimes easier. So if you don't know that you have like odds of getting a certain type of cancer are particularly high, then it's, you know, then you don't have to live with that burden, the burden of knowing that. So I think that's what they're referring to.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of like they're trying to put it on a race thing. Like you find out you're 20% Jew and you're like, no, I'm dying.
Oh shit, I'm 20% smart. Oh,
no. Or maybe a racist white person finding out they're like 20% black and like, no. You ever seen there was one daytime talk show where they did that. It was like the super racist white guy, but then they DNA tested him and they found out it was like 13%. No, even more. I think it was like 30-something% black.
Wasn't that on Jerry Springer?
Yeah, it might have been, which, you know, it's probably bullshit because Jerry Springer is pretty fake, but it's still funny, man. That video is funny as fuck.
There's bound to be people who that happens to.
Hey, Amy. Amy's finally got into the hangout.
Yeah, but you're muted, Amy.
But she muted herself when she came in, probably because we were talking. She don't want to interrupt.
Yeah. Amy, you can steamroll us now if you want to.
Yeah. I'm just don't trust the government at all. Yeah, the government does our government does fucked up shit too, and it's hard to trust them. But
I can't speak, of course, on the situation in the U.S. But yeah, it's there's got to be some trust at some point, and I do, for a large degree, trust our government here.
Well,
am I working now?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you.
Perfect.
We do
Sorry,
have
I
some
need to
background noise
stop.
there, but
Yeah, there's some whistling coming through too. It's weird.
yeah.
Is there? Okay, I'll plug in headphones.
Yeah, just when you talk. It's weird.
Yeah.
I think you're triggered and you're reeing at us.
I'm triggered. Wee! How about now? Is that better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
much better.
Much better.
Much
awesome.
better.
A healthy dose of skepticism is with it at all times. Yeah, I agree, Mike. She's going to ruin the
Hi,
stream.
chat. No, I'm gonna mostly listen. I gotta cook. I had to make sure it was working on my phone. It just wouldn't work on my iPhone, so
Yeah, that's weird.
I switched to my Samsung. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking crashing on me every time. It's super annoying. I'll crack a beer with you guys too.
Nice. Billy said if you're black
Yeah.
and you find out you're actually more white than black, it could ruin your life. If all you care about it's true. If you're the kind of person who only cares about race, yeah. It could ruin your life. You
Yeah,
spent your whole life bitching at white people for being racist, and then now you find out you're part of them. You're more them than what you thought you were.
Yeah, well, we all know that that's not true because Devin's done more than one video about some mulatto as author writing an article about their trans
Yeah.
Mulatto
their
ass.
white guilt.
Billy said, "Sorry, I was backed up, dude. There's laxatives you can buy that'll help with that."
Nice. Nice.
Go to Taco Bell.
They go to Taco Bell. Yeah, that'll clean you right out.
Ew, it
Or,
really
or
would.
well, we're in the East
Go to
Go-
Tim Hortons. I hear they're good with shit. So
Oh, we're on the East Coast, so you can go to White Castle.
Okay.
That'll get it all out. My interest is in the unintended consequences of genealogy exploration. Started a few years back with a patient who sought help in interpreting data she received from a third-party company that suggested she was at increased genetic risk for breast cancer. Concern over what had been identified in the interpretation report ultimately led this patient to see a genetic counselor, a trained professional who can advise on the genetic risks of various diseases. The counselor eventually determined the result was nothing that warranted concern. The false positive case raised red flags for me. So basically, from the first genetic test, she found out she was at risk for breast cancer. She went deeper into it, and the person told her that she wasn't.
Yeah, so basically, whoever told her the first thing overreacted, and she overreacted, and now it's red flags. Yeah. Okay. So again, just a case of one person fucking up.
Well, I mean, that's why they always tell you should get a second opinion, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
you double check. That's not a problem. I interviewed this patient to learn more about why she'd used this company that I had never heard about previously to learn about a breast cancer risk. Turned out she'd stumbled into the area of genetic testing for health risks due to an interest in genealogy. While watching Henry Louis Gates' PBS show, Finding Your Roots, she saw an ad for one of the commercial direct-to-consumer companies that offered ancestry testing. Once the patient learned her ancestry results, she also realized that an entire world had opened up in terms of other possible nuggets of information she could discover from her raw DNA data. So she purchased access to third-party health app to interpret her raw DNA. It was these results provided without consultation with a medical professional, which then led her to clinic. Currently, there are many of these third-party apps or online services available to consumers. They're not regulated by the Food and Drug Administration since, as argued by the companies behind them, they just serve as a bridge to literature and only provide access to the scientific evidence-based.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure these companies give like a disclaimer or something, right? To say that like this.
Of course they do.
Yeah, you think so. And this lady probably just went all WebMD on her DNA, and
yeah,
she found something like it's what people sometimes do with WebMD, right? So they have a cough, they look it up, and I've got throat cancer.
Yeah. Oh, coffee.
The internet makes people hypochondriacs. Yes. Worry about shit you don't need to worry about.
But it's also a thing of them not using it correctly, because if you put in symptoms,
that too.
Multiple symptoms could be the same for multiple symptoms, and they'll give you a list of all the things they could possibly mean.
And
people just pick the one they're most scared of, and be like, "Oh my God, I have lung cancer." Like no, maybe you just have allergies. How about that? Same symptoms.
Maybe you just have allergies.
Same symptoms. Now you're coughing up lung fucking cookies. Like same fucking symptoms.
But also, like in a practical sense, what are you gonna do? So the DNA test tells you you're prone to get like breast cancer or whatever. What are you gonna do? All you can do is get regular checkups. As you maybe should do,
which you
and
should
also,
do in the first place anyway.
Yeah, and also just live healthily. Just get exercise, eat healthy,
stay away from cancer-causing things.
Yep.
My colleagues and I surveyed customers of these third-party companies to learn more about their motives for exploring the raw DNA data they receive from commercial testing companies. Approximately 2/3 of the consumers were surveyed were highly motivated to explore raw DNA for ancestral details. Yeah, that's usually what people use it for. Right? 40% were interested in both ancestry and health information. Hey, Marino. 62% of respondents use GED match, highlighting the extent to which DNA data that are heavily protected by companies such as Ancestry DNA and 23andMe are unguided by consumers themselves. Many choose to freely upload that data in hopes of finding other relatives. Notably, almost 3/4 of consumers reported using more than one third-party company to interpret their DNA. Well, there you go. Second opinion. That's okay. Some might argue these tools provide a beneficial service for consumers, particularly when it comes to learning more about their health risks. In cases where genetic risks are determined via clinically validated tests, it can be empowering. Angelina Jolie is a perfect example. What?
Okay.
It's funny they don't go into why she's a perfect example.
No, they just mention the name.
Yeah. She just says Angelina Jolie is a perfect example.
Oh, I can second that.
It leads to another article. So I feel like more than trying to bring that up, I feel like they just put it in there to lead people to another article so they can read more articles by then. That's pretty funny. Yet the validity of genetic tests that consumers have direct access to remains questionable. In fact, a recent article by scientists at one of the clinical testing labs that medical providers rely on reported that approximately 40% of results reported from raw DNA interpretations were incorrect. Thus, 4 out of 10 people are told they have a greater risk for a disease than they do not. That's an exceedingly high number of individuals to stress out with the false positive result. Well, that's why you go to a doctor.
Yeah, so basically bad interpretation.
You know what else is stupid is like people don't get that genes operate probabilistically depending on their combinations and like many other factors. So you may have a marker for a certain cancer or something, but that doesn't necessarily mean that just because you have it, you're going to get it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But that's why when you get the result back and you find out you're at risk for a disease, you go check it out with a doctor and find out if you actually are.
Get yourself scanned, find out.
And even better, to find out what you can do to lower the risk.
Well, Melf, you've got a 23andMe ad over there in the bottom right.
Unfortunately, your solution makes too much sense. That's why people don't just do the simple things they should do.
Yep.
It's funny that this article is kind of complaining about 23andMe and then they advertise it here on the side.
That's what cookies will do.
By the way, if you want to get your DNA tested, try 23andMe.
Worst ad ever.
Talking shit about it. Yeah. Cigarettes cause cancer, and by the way, Marlboro.
Yeah, no kidding.
My ongoing work has found that worry is the primary driver for patients to seek out medical assistance in raw DNA interpretation. As such, this false positive rate has a notable downstream burden on the healthcare system.
My ongoing work, as if it's like some kind of hefty research. This
it hasn't done anything, but it's also this false positive rate has a notable downstream burden. I can understand some point of that because it's getting more people to go in there and it's clogging up the system. But you do want more people to go get checked and make sure that they're not at risk of shit. So in the end, I think it's more beneficial than detrimental. Right?
Yeah, if it helps, to educate people about the risks they're running or, going to the doctor in general, then maybe. Yeah,
if you find out 4 in 10 of those people actually are at risk for cancer and the other 6 aren't, well, there's no problem. You know what I'm saying? It's better to find out that those 4 people are at risk than not,
Yeah.
Social media sites like Reddit are filled with examples of consumers who are confused about how to interpret the reports generated from some of these third-party companies, which vary greatly in clarity and quality. Well, I've got great advice for these people. Don't go to Reddit.
No kidding.
Go to a professional and get that interpreted.
Reddit is a cesspool of pseudoscientists, man. Like they all think they're fucking intellectuals and shit.
Please respond.
I've got you guys covered, man. Just don't go to social media sites for interpretations of your DNA.
Yeah.
Go to
Exactly.
a professional.
Yep.
Well, they have learned from a report they might have BRCA. What's that variant?
That's a gene.
Okay. BRCA variant that might confer high risk for breast cancer and ovarian cancer, and ask other site users for help in understanding whether the result is real. Why are you asking other site users? That's
Yeah.
goddamn, people are fucking retarded. Like
All these,
shit.
what these people are going to do, they're going to say,
Well, my aunt also, passed away because of cancer, so you're probably also gonna die.
and there you go. You're scared, and
Mhm.
you're scared. And these are the same people that'll believe in horoscopes and Scientology and shit. So they're easily persuaded to also believe in the fact that, or believe in the idea that if you have a certain variant, you're gonna have a certain type of cancer 100%. Even though, as Amy just explained, it's based on probability.
Billy brought up a funny point because sometimes these ads are algorithmic, right? Like they go by what you.
Oh
think you-
yeah.
So it's like they write an article about the info sharing with corporations, and then send you an ad based on their info sharing from a corporation. Like basically, you're right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Have you also been looking for better internet lately, Alf?
Yeah. Like,
There
but
you
that's
go.
not better. Oh, I guess it is better. 40 bucks.
I'm not sure. Probably
Yeah.
you probably just looked up something about internet connections and
Oh, that does help because I'm 100. I'm at 50 up, 50 down. So I
yeah,
don't
so
know.
if you just get an ad blocker, then you won't have to deal with this kind of bullshit.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I should. Where was I?
free.
Or they have learned from a report. Oh, I did read that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be this way, I think,
Yeah.
is where you were. It doesn't have to be this way. There are genetic counselors who specialize in interpreting
Yeah.
positive results and helping patients figure out what to do.
It's
Yep.
funny that they had to explain that. I think if you're having
Yeah.
an issue with anything, don't go to social media. Go to a professional. Like,
Dude,
Yeah.
this is what people
Why
do
does that
now. I don't
explain?
understand. I don't get why people
Yeah,
think
it's
that.
very
Like, I
retarded.
get that
I'm
there are
like,
some
God, there's so many
doctors.
retarded people out there. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Genetic counselors, meanwhile, are frustrated. The message from commercial testing companies has led to an unrealistic expectations from customers about what they can learn about themselves. It's challenging for counselors to correct misconceptions, especially when they are met with resistance from patients. So there's patients going to them, and these professionals are telling, no, that means this. And they're like, well, I read on Reddit that,
Yeah.
I don't think you're right because some random guy on Reddit told me that this, that. Like, really?
Oh,
He said a bunch of words that sounded medically appropriate.
Well, I don't know because Gash Hunter 25 from Twitter told me that.
Gash Hunter.
XX Gash Hunter 2525XX told me that
This guy named
incorrect.
Skull Punisher 221.
Yeah, Skull Punisher.
This little guy
but-
named Peep.
Oh yeah, little guy. Some guy named Little Peep. He's a 17-year-old. Fucking told me this. So you who have been studying this for 50 years, I don't think you're right.
Yeah, you and your medical experience, you suck.
It's kind of what goes on in politics with the left-right thing, right? Where people are trying to tell scientists who've studied the global climate for 50 years that they're wrong about climate change and shit. And it's like, oh,
It's
you
all
do
hoax.
realize all you've done is watch Fox News, and this guy's been studying climates for 50 years. Like, who are you? Who are you to tell him that shit?
Exactly. Yeah.
The problem with that is this conflicting opinion.
2018 maybe the users. Wait, hold on. 2017 was the year commercial direct-to-consumer testing exploded. 2018 may be the year users rethink the value of this gift, or at least how to use it. Yeah, I hope so. That's pretty. I hope people get less retarded. That's basically what I'm saying.
Consumers just have weird motives for doing shit
Yeah.
like that anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. Once the genie is out of the bottle, it isn't going back. The Golden State Killer arrest is only highlighted that the ramifications of genetic genealogy and the widespread use of third-party DNA sites are broader than consumers could have ever anticipated. I don't get why he's using the Golden State Killer part example. That's actually the way you would want that used, right? Like to catch
Yeah,
serial
exactly.
killers. Like it's like he's complaining that it was used in a way that wasn't I guess, in a different way, but it was used to catch a serial killer. Like, that's not a bad thing.
I'm surprised that the author Catherine Wang, associate professor of something, uses the words genetic genealogy together. It's sort of
it's kind of like race. It's like race realism. Like, it's so redundant.
Genetic genealogy. I'll try to sound smart. But,
it's kind of like saying, let's talk about racial races.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Special species. Let's talk about special species.
Yep.
But you don't need to say it twice. It makes it super
redundancy. Yeah.
Oh, this is funny. Somebody was just talking to me about this show Murphy Brown before and saying like, wow, that woman disappeared. And here it is. Welcome back, Murphy Brown.
Hey, Elf, share your soft side. Share a super pretzel.
Oh, yeah, this bottom part.
Another nice ad.
Another ad. I do like pretzels, so that makes sense. Never mind democracy. Oh, okay, we looked at that already. Let's see what else. Lack of insurance exposes blind spots in vision care.
Oh, blind spot in vision care. I see what you did there.
Good one, guy. Let's see. Culture. Let's check
Culture.
out
Oh, yeah, that's bound to give us some nice social justice bullshit.
5 strangers, 1 flight canceled. I wish they put a little more because I'm not sure if it's worth it or not.
Not interested.
Yeah, I tried.
Can you hear me chewing?
Everyone's talking about, and it's total game changer. I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit, but it's barely audible.
Okay.
I sold Cyborg 5000.
Oh, there's something Rose like with the Entity Plus.
All right, this I have to read. We need to talk about Avengers Infinity War's treatment of Mantis.
Oh, no, is it because she's Asian?
Is it because she's Asian, or is it because they barely used her? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, she did play a kind of an important role. She learned what Thanos' motivation was, right? By touching him. I think so. I got to see that movie again. Oh, look at this. The Mary Sue. We know this is going to be funny. Avengers Infinity War is a film up to its eyeballs in superheroes. What a funny way to put it. In fact, there are superheroes of almost every variety. The technologically advanced, the genetically modified, the masters of magic, and even a god or two. That said, one can't really be angry that Mantis, the newest member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, didn't have many lines of dialogue. Yeah, there was a lot of characters that
Oh my god.
But one can certainly be disappointed with what she said in those limited lines, particularly the way in which she underestimated her own empathic abilities. Did they watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2? She kind of is. She was kept as a slave, so she kind of has that mentality, right? She's kind of timid.
Slave. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, and kind of afraid to use her powers and stuff. She's kind of that character. It's like they kind of. It's kind of like they're completely ignoring the characters, how the character was introduced into the world of Marvel. Yeah. During the course of the film, Iron Man, Star-Lord, Spider-Man, Nebula, Doctor Strange, Drax, and Mantis find themselves on Titan, Thanos' home planet. It's about the most... Oh, yeah, this might have spoilers, guys. Just so you know. It's about the most unlikely group of superheroes. Some Avengers, some Guardians, and Doctor Strange. Why did they say Doctor Strange? That's weird. But the team works quite well. I guess because his name is Doctor Strange, but it still works. I don't know. I think it's a joke.
Or because they don't see. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a joke on him being strange, but saying they work together because they're unlikely group of superheroes. Yeah. Bad joke, though, by the way. Together, they devise a plan to take down Thanos by relying on the individual strength of each character. It really wasn't a bad plan, as Doctor Strange's mystical art, Spider-Man's web shooters. It was actually his agility, not his web shooters, that worked in that. He did use his web shooters, but the whole point was his agility. And Mantis's empathic ability confused, overwhelmed, and disabled Thanos enough so that Tony Stark was this close to taking the gauntlet. That's wrong too. I thought it was. Yeah, I watched the movie. I'm pretty sure it was Spider-Man that almost got the gauntlet. He was pulling at it and it got really close.
It was Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah, and Iron Man was like blasting him while he did it, right, to distract him. That is until Star-Lord went and did the thing that Star-Lord did. But Star-Lord, I guess they're trying not to spoil it. That's cool. But Star-Lord has always been a charming screw-up, so it's unfair to hold the annihilation of half a galaxy against the personality trait the audience already knew he had. But somehow you completely... What? That's the end of the article?
What?
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 No way. There's no way that's the end.
It is.
Oh, read the rest at the Mary Sue. I guess I have to click this. It was an It's basically an advertisement for another.
Do we have to?
Yeah. Where is it? Knew he had. I was like, don't tell me that's the end of the article. It didn't explain
that would
anything.
have been the worst article ever.
It's like, hey, this movie. This was the scene in this movie, and that's it.
Yep.
Like, what was the point of that? This sounds like the gayest movie in history. Yeah, Vulpes still hasn't shown up. He was supposed to show up. He said he was gonna go get beer.
It continues under that free phones advertisement. Anyway, Mantis. We need to talk about Mantis. Yeah, scroll down.
Oh yeah, there you go. Anyway, Mantis. We need to talk about Mantis. Yeah, they got totally distracted. In the plot to take down Thanos, Mantis's empathic ability may in fact be the single most integral superpower. It's Mantis's ability to subdue Thanos with that finally, for the first time in the entire film, makes him vulnerable without the periods in this are so tiny I didn't even see it. Without Mantis, it's likely that the combined power of the others wouldn't have stood a chance next to Thanos. With Mantis, this ragtag group almost pulled off the impossible. What's troubling about this scene is that of all the characters present, it's only Mantis who voices doubt in their ability. Yeah, that's her character. Yeah, they're totally eliminating her character, like the background of her character.
Well, yeah, what did they just expect her to do after being liberated from Star-Lord's dad?
Guys, she's Asian and she didn't have enough lines. That's all you need to know.
All of a sudden, her confidence boosts up, and now she's a totally different character, filled with confidence in her abilities.
Yep.
Mantis's self-doubt is hidden in seemingly throwaway lines. Well, her self-doubt isn't hidden. You see it in her face and her body language constantly throughout the film, and any scene she's in, you can see that has a lot of self-doubt. But it's definitely there in the way she says Thanos is too strong and worries that she won't be able to control him very long. Well, he is very strong. I don't understand what to say. It's a line already communicated to the audience to Pom Klemp that performance, whatever it is. The struggle evidence in her expression. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about, right? You see it in her expressions constantly. The line feels superfluous at best. I agree, but it's it's a blockbuster film for kids and adults, so they're going to explain some things that don't really need to be, but the line feels superfluous, and at worst, it feels sexist. Oh my god!
Oh,
they brought it there. I think I'm gonna faint, guys. I'm not feeling well.
Wait, so Scarlet Witch has the power to warp reality, but that's not that's not sexist at all. But this girl being underpowered is.
Can I just ask what they're expecting out of a movie? Is every character supposed to have the same level of power, the same level of this, the same level of that? Like, you just want one character to do the whole story? You're not gonna life is unequal.
Mm-hmm.
That is something they just cannot accept. Yeah, art imitates life.
Even between the men, like Drax is way more powerful than Star-Lord is. You know, he's Hulk is way more powerful than Captain America. Scarlet Witch is more powerful than Black Widow. Like even between the women, they all have different abilities. The thing is that their abilities are good for certain things, and that's why teamwork works out. But this person doesn't understand this, I guess. They should all have the same power.
Everyone's equal.
They should all be exactly equal with the same power. They should all be Hulk strength.
Everyone gets God mode.
Yeah, that would be so boring, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't believe she said sexist. Oh, I'm lost now. Where was I? Because I was freaking out about that saying it.
Let's see.
Right after she says sexist.
Yeah, why should it be Mantis who comments on the strength of Thanos?
Because she's in his mind at the moment.
Yeah, because she can feel
she wasn't commenting on his physical strength. She was commenting on his mental strength because she was in his mind. Like, I think this person doesn't understand how Mantis's power works, really. Oh, here we go. This isn't the only time Mantis has specifically mentioned the power of her opponent or doubted herself against said power either. Maybe since it's not the first time, you should take into effect that maybe she has self-doubt because she was kept as a slave since birth. Like, I don't know. Obviously, if you have a slave, you're going to keep them down and treat and have them think that they're weak, right? Like, or they fight against you. The whole point is to keep them thinking that they can't fight against you.
Make it easier on us.
Yeah, I guess this person doesn't have any hindsight to think back and be like, oh yeah, this makes sense because of this.
Yeah, this person just watched a movie and it wasn't, go girls enough, and
girl power.
Yeah.
The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Mantis is empathic and emphatic. No, they fucked up. It's not an emphatic ability; it's an empathic ability. They misplaced the H.
Yeah,
Once
before,
again, Does
a bit
emphatic
early.
work too? I'm not really sure what emphatic means. To tell you the
I
truth.
think earlier in the article they did use empathic.
Empathic. So yeah, they messed up. Unless emphatic is another word for something.
Emphatic
Showing,
is like
no,
really,
yeah,
really
not at all.
happy. Yeah.
Showing or giving emphasis, expressing
yeah.
something forcibly or clearly, an emphatic consonant. Yeah,
Yeah.
it means emphasis, which makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, they fucked up there. Ability
Nice.
is once again their ability to form emphasis on something is once again essential to the gang's plan to take down the villains.
Guys, this is really important,
Yeah.
you guys.
The villain's weakness is specificity. So if you put emphasis on something, he's totally like, oh, it hurts.
Thanos, we want the gauntlet. What
Yeah,
gauntlet? Oh
yeah.
shit!
Oh no! You put
Oh, no.
emphasis on the gauntlet. No, it's weakening. I can feel it coming off my hand.
How many stones? 6 stones to be exact. Oh no!
Oh no! You put emphasis on the 6 stone. It's like throwing water on the witch, right? It's like a super simple way to stop you.
Yeah.
You mean the whole time all they had to do was put emphasis on him, and he would have lost?
Yeah. Thanos with an
They
emphasis on
fucked
the
up. They were
O.
trying way too hard. It was really simple to take him down. In the showdown against Star-Lord's father, Ego, who is a celestial being, it's Mantis's ability to put Ego to sleep that ultimately saves the day, as it buys enough time for Groot to plant a bomb in Ego's core. Yet Mantis hesitates because she says Ego is too powerful. That's really simple. That really simplifies it. That's not really.
Yeah.
It is because he's too powerful, but she also hesitated because Ego was basically like her father, right?
hmm
He raised
And
her
also,
her whole world was Ego. So
here's another thing they just skip over. She puts a celestial being to sleep. Doesn't that make her, all the more powerful? Doesn't
they're eliminating the point that these characters are extremely powerful.
Yeah.
They're more powerful than all of the heroes that they're facing combined.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it takes teamwork and strategy to outsmart that character because they're too powerful.
And just the fact that Mantis was able to put Ego to sleep, Ego,
It's
who's so powerful,
already shows that her character is like overpowered. She's extremely
it is.
and it's better actually to make her self-doubt herself, because if not, she'd be too powerful and it would destroy the plot. It would not make for an interesting plot if she could just walk up to people and put them all to sleep, and that's the end of the movie.
So every character has to have his or her weakness, and which they do, right? Every character in the Marvel movies does have their own weakness, and for her apparently is her low confidence.
Yeah, all of the Guardians kind of have one if you think about it, because like Peter Quill's constantly fucking up. You know what I'm saying? He's a fuck up. Mantis has self-doubt. Drax. Is too gung-ho about his wanting to kill Thanos that he just jumps into, he forgoes plans and just jumps into action,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can find one of these flaws in like all of the the Avengers. And
all of the characters have their own little flaws that fuck things up for them.
They also complement each other, and that's
that's true.
That's something.
The whole point that makes the stories interesting is that they have to overcome these downfalls in order to win.
And that's exactly what they're describing in this paragraph here. Yet Mantis hesitates, and then Drax, gives her the confidence, which is something he has like an abundance of. He is overly confident, so that's where they complement each other really well. And that's
Mantis and Drax are exact opposites, right? Where she has self-doubt, Drax is overly confident.
But somehow the writer of this article takes out of that scene she. So if we completely simplify everything this person's saying to like one sentence, it would be that I don't like that this movie has good character development. Yep.
That's
what it comes down to.
Yeah. I don't like character development. Just make them really one-dimensional characters.
Yeah. We want them all to be Superman, and also take away the kryptonite, just and make them have no weakness at all. And also, they all need to be female. And
it's funny because you could have wrote the same exact article with Drax, like you were saying, and just complain about how his character's overconfidence. And that's sexist. Men tend to be overconfident. That's sexist that they made him overconfident. You've
got a good point there. If you just change some of the words around, change Drax to Mantis, and that would be a perfect article for The Onion. Yeah, just change all Mantises to Drax and all instances of doubt and self-doubt to overconfidence. Yeah. And it's the same article saying the same thing. But just put that on The Onion because it's
who's here.
Vulpes, what's up, man?
Oh shit!
How you doing, dude?
Hey,
it's me. Hello, everyone.
Hold on. You guys talk for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Tell me about your day. Well, Bess.
It was wonderful.
Yeah? What did you do today? Did you go to work or what?
Did you go to kindergarten?
Yep. Went to kindergarten.
Do you smoke pot?
In kindergarten?
No.
No,
Oh.
but you drink, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I whack off too.
Would you say you're an alcoholic?
Yep.
Really? Why?
No, not really. I just like to joke around with people.
Oh, I was being
Then
serious.
it's okay.
No,
You
not
gotta
really
tell
an
me.
alcoholic.
Good.
Despite my voice, I will speak seriously.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yep.
What you guys talking about?
So
we were reading an article.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we're reading an article about this author person, probably a she. She wrote about one of the characters in the latest in the latest Avenger movies being not up to her standards, and she whined about it.
Yeah, she's basically saying Mantis has a lot of self-doubt, and that's sexist.
That's
but it's
no
really
good.
not. You know, that's kind of like good character.
Mantis is just an exotic piece of Asian meat.
Yeah, I like
With
I like
tentacles on
exotic-
her head.
I very much like exotic Asian. Vulpes, can I ask you a question? I'm not asking for specificity, but do you cover your voice up because you're somebody, you know, you don't want people to know who you are, or are you doing it as a joke, or what's? You don't have to tell me the specific story, just you know the basic.
But it's both.
It's both. Oh, it's funny, and you don't want people to know who you
Oh.
are. No problem.
Cool.
So,
Maybe
You
I
don't
should
mind?
change my name to Judge Doom or something. Voice.
I do like Judge Doom. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a
Or
cool.
Elmo. Or maybe Elmo.
Yeah,
La la
Elmo would
la
work.
la 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 la.
Whoa!
La 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 la.
I used to work in a toy store like in the early 2000s, and they had a version of "You Can Drive My Car" from the Beatles with Elmo singing it. It was like, Elmo, you can drive my car. And then he'd be like, beep,
That's
beep, beep,
cute.
beep, yeah.
You remember Mr. Noodle? He was on Elmo's World. Mr. Noodle.
Oh, no, I don't know shit about Elmo, to be honest with you. I might be too old for that. I do, oh, what
Did
was
you
that
hear they made
character?
Lando Calrissian pansexual?
Yeah, that's retarded. Who
Oh, I
cares?
did hear about that.
Who cares about a character's sexuality? Why would you care?
I have never, especially like
Well,
a
first
B
of all,
character
they
like
didn't
he is.
create Lando Calrissian.
No.
George Lucas did.
Yeah. And in the end, Star Wars is never really, except for like the prequels, because it was integral to the story. But Star Wars is never about romance or characters hooking up. Like Han Solo and Leia love interest thing was kept very minimal in the in the original series. It wasn't like something that was super highlighted, you know. So adding sexuality and the stuff to the characters is just taken away from the plot.
Yeah, it has
Instead of that,
nothing to
just
do with
focus-
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead
I
of that,
think
just
Lewis-
focus on writing a good story, you know. Like,
I think Luke and Princess Leia should have gotten together.
yeah, some good old incest, twin incest. There can't be any.
Well,
Incest.
they
such thing.
weren't originally siblings. That was something
No,
stupid
yeah,
George Lucas put at the end.
They added that at the end, yeah.
'Cause
Well, same
George
thing
Lucas
with
didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
that. That Darth Vader being his father was also a last minute thing in the scripting. It wasn't supposed to be
I
that way.
think he was
and they
talking
did
about
the
that
last second.
too since
Mhm.
since before he started the film.
Before he started Empire Strikes Back.
I think maybe it was during New Hope too, like the summer of A New Hope. They were doing that.
Yeah, and it was during the script
I
writing.
think the whole thing with the sibling, it was just a pathetic attempt to top the Vader revelation.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to do that again and try to capture it again, but it didn't work the second time so much. It wasn't as impactful. I remember finding out their brother and sister and being like, "Oh, okay, cool," like not a big deal. Though it does make you think and go back to when she kissed him and be like, Let me continue with this article, and we'll see where we go from here. Where was I now? See
Where
if
I think
can
you
get
were
lost.
at why should it be Mantis who comments on, and you said that because she's in his mind and she can feel his mental strength. And
Yeah.
That's where you were.
hesitate.
So this isn't the only time Mantis has specifically mentioned the power of her opponent, like at the start of that paragraph. think that's
I'm right
what
here
I
actually. I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's what I
talking
meant.
about yeah, you're right.
It's only after Drax tells Mantis she doesn't have to believe in herself because he believes in her that Mantis successfully attempts to put Ego to sleep. This scene actually gets even more problematic. No, it doesn't. As they stun Drax, as a stunned Drax says he didn't really think Mantis would be able to do it because she's weak and skinny. All of that makes total sense. How is that problematic? First of all, she lacks self-doubt because nobody's ever told her she's doing a good job. So the fact that Drax told her that he believes in her is the first time she's ever heard that and gave her confidence for herself. Mm-hmm. And then Drax saying that she didn't really think he could do it is totally in his character the whole time. Yep. He calls her ugly and all these things because that's what his race is all about. Physical strength and shit, you know. So,
yeah, and I can guarantee
that non-warriors are not attractive, you know.
Yeah, and I can just guarantee that if it were the other way around, someone commented on Drax being stupid or overly aggressive or whatever, she would just laugh her ass off.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's exactly how I was saying how we could reverse this article and make it Drax instead of Mantis, and it would still work the same, like
easily. Yeah,
but they want to bring it to a sexist point for some reason. Mantis's doubt in her abilities feels like the MCU's equivalent to women in the workplace prefacing their input with sorry, or I think, or maybe, what? Or presenting their ideas as questions.
It's only women who do that. Yeah,
it's only women. I do
Sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, totally crazy. Whoever wrote this is Mantis. You know what I'm saying? They're a person with self-doubt and, you know, and they're trying, instead of trying to be more confident, they're trying to change the world around them.
Is the author's name on the page somewhere?
Is the what?
All the way
the
down.
author's name.
Yeah, most likely. Let me scroll up. It's probably at the top.
Is it an Asian woman?
Nah, Veronica Walsingham.
Wow.
Well, look her up. Maybe that's her maiden name or something.
Oh, you married any?
Yeah, her married name.
I think. But there's also a lot of white people with white guilt, and they end up writing stuff like this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that could be what it is.
I'm guessing white guilt here.
Yeah, we read this part. Yeah, weak and skinny. Mantis's doubt in her abilities feel. I read that already. Studies have shown that women using these undermining phrases and unnecessary apologies can project a lack of confidence. They're not projecting it; they do have a lack of confidence. Yep. Men with lack of confidence do the same thing. Which may ultimately result in employers and coworkers losing their confidence in said employee. Yeah, that happens to men as well. Yeah. This certainly seems to be the very case with Mantis, and audience don't necessarily view her as a very powerful character in the MCU. That's not true. She displays power. Like we see the powers that she uses. It's just her own lack of self-confidence that brings her down. I think everybody knows that and sees that perfectly clear. She's even been dubbed as useless by who? Yeah, maybe by Drax, which makes total sense why he would say that, because like I said, he values physical strength.
No, the only Asian stereotype I don't like is the girls with the striped colored hair. You see that trailer for the Deadpool movie with that Asian girl with the pink purple hair stripe? I'm so sick of seeing that.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
I mean, just go watch Pacific Rim. That one Asian chick's got remember Big Hero 6? Remember that one chick?
Yeah. She looks like her.
I'm sick of seeing that stereotype.
I'd rather go on Pornhub and watch Pacific Rim Job. I think that's a more interesting film.
It definitely sounds a bit more interesting, yeah.
Oh, where'd Amy go? I didn't realize she left.
Yeah, probably some computer issue.
Yeah,
I heard something about her phone or her computer.
Yeah, she'll be right back.
What's up, Lance?
So I think she has been dubbed useless by the author here in this article, so she has something to whine about.
It's funny how she says that she was even dubbed as useless in the film, but she doesn't mention who says it. Like, honestly, I think she's leaving it on purpose. But honestly, if it's Drax, then it makes total sense. It's not anything else but him being an alien from a planet where they value strength, physical strength, and everything else is seen as weak and useless. You know?
Yeah, and different people are gonna find different characters useless. Like a simple mind, quote unquote, may, for instance, just call the Hulk the strongest character in the movie, while other people are gonna call maybe Doctor Strange or
Was
Iron
there-
Man.
Wasn't there a
It's-
scene in the second Guardians of the Galaxy where Drax was talking to what's his name, Star-Lord, and
Yeah.
Star-Lord was talking about dancing or something, that's how he
Mhm.
attracted to women, and then Drax brings up something about dancing being weird, and then he says something about watching his wife, or his later wife, that
Mhm.
killing people or something, or fighting, and that's why he
Yeah.
was attracted to her, and because that's basically what their race does, right? They're warriors. That's what they're attracted to. Anybody who's weak and useless is garbage to them. And it's like, how does this person not understand that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's different definitions of strength. I mean,
Yeah,
can't you detect people's like emotions or intentions?
yeah,
or something?
that's a strength too. But that's what I'm saying. Drax himself is from a race that only sees physical strength as being good, and everything else is
I
useless.
think they're not happy until the women are fucking overpowered or something.
Yeah, until
Yep.
the women are beating everyone senseless. And
They all need to be Wonder Woman.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, is this person just wants all the characters to be the same, or do they want people to have, adversity and problems in
Yeah.
their life? And if you're so powerful, you gotta look at the Hulk. He's super powerful, but he also has his downfall is that he's over emotional, or sometimes he changes back into Bruce Banner, who's weak. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yep.
If he was just always the Hulk and super smart, he would, the movies would be boring.
Yeah, and then again, that if they're if all of the characters are the same, that goes against probably the wish of this author to have a bunch of individual characters
Yeah,
with their
yeah.
own problems and stuff. So it's like, what do you want? You can't have
Yeah.
both.
Yeah,
It's-
it'd be a totally different article if all the characters were equally as strong. Then she'd be like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
don't have any diversity."
Well,
and-
Yeah,
that's
they're
part
all
of
the
the reason
same.
the sequel trilogy with Star Wars is just never good. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not going to be as good as the original because
yeah,
of how
Yeah.
powerful Rey is.
yeah, I agree with you. I actually enjoy the new movies. I know a lot of people hated The Last Jedi, but I enjoyed it. But I don't think
I
it's
sort of
great.
think it's okay. I mean, it's an
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
film. Not a
Exactly.
good Star Wars film, but an okay film. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
exactly. That's how I feel. Like I didn't hate it like a lot of people.
I can
did.
understand
enjoyed
them
it.
why they killed off Luke. They have to make something happen.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
can't just be filler.
Also,
Actually,
contract.
I also enjoyed the way they did Luke in that movie. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought it was a cool show of how powerful he was to be able to project himself over, planets away. That's really powerful. I think people don't see it that way because it's not as visually impactful. You know what I'm saying? As him
Mhm.
like actually being there and using all these powers would have been more impactful. But if you think about it, it's like, dude, this guy like meditated and projected his image fucking planets away. That's fucking crazy, Crazy powerful.
Yeah.
And I think he's died. I think him dying makes sense. Ray needs that, like he needed Obi-Wan to die. You know what I'm saying? In the original series, Obi-Wan died, and then he was his like force spirit.
Well, I
leaving-
think Han Solo was sort of like the Obi-Wan, the same way Qui-Gon Jinn was in
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
like the first movie. The big mentor dies, and then
Yeah,
but,
that
you
makes
know,
sense. And now it's like her second mentor died too, and now Luke is most likely going to come back in the third film as a force spirit. Like giving her advice.
I think then Carrie Fisher is somehow going to die off screen. I don't know how.
I don't think so. I think they'll CGI her. I mean, in
They might
Um,
CGI her for a little bit.
yeah,
but,
yeah,
I
she
heard
will
them
die.
say they got no plans to put her in.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, like in The Last Jedi, she didn't finish filming all the scenes, so some of the scenes are CGI with her in it. You can kind of tell if you look close, but they do a pretty good job. If you're not paying attention, you wouldn't notice if you're not looking for it. She's even dubbed as useless. Her power is literally necessary in both films in which she appears, even if Star-Lord messes things up in Infinity War. Yeah, yeah. There's also a little thing I noticed that Groot is basically the hero of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like he always ends up saving the day.
I love Groot.
Yeah, even in Avengers, they wouldn't have had Stormbringer if he didn't use his arm to be the staff, right? The handle for Stormbreaker.
Welcome back, Amy.
Hi.
Welcome back, Amy.
Hi.
So it may be Mantis's doubt in herself that in turn makes audience view her character as useless when she's anything but. The only funny thing is I've never heard anyone mention this but this article. So this woman who wrote this article is the only one who's viewing her as
Yeah.
useless.
It is, yeah. Some
That's funny.
people are as useless, and some people she means
She means
just
herself, yeah, because I've talked to people in length about this film. And I've never heard one person mention that Mantis was useless in the film.
Yeah, me neither.
In comparison, there are very few fans who would consider Iron Man useless, and that may be because his language is really self-doubting or of a negative losing tone. Yeah, but he has anxiety attacks and shit like that. He does have his own little things that
it's in the Iron Man films, right? He's got this alcoholism.
You understand that? And he looked worried the whole Avengers film. You see it in his face.
He had like a cocaine addiction or something.
Alcohol. Yeah, it's alcohol. He's an alcoholic in the comics. Yeah, he had to overcome that. He actually
I think
stopped
he was one of the first atheist superheroes. I heard.
I don't know about that, but it's a possibility.
Wow, that's so diverse.
I would think maybe Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange really deals in the mystic arts, and there's no god in that, right? He deals with like cosmic gods and shit like that. In the Thanos scene, Iron Man does physically struggle, but he doesn't say Thanos is too strong. He doesn't need to. What the fuck? Like, oh god. Instead, Iron Man simply asks Spider-Man for backup, which has a positive can-do spin, especially in comparison to Mantis's comment. Similar to the employee-employer dynamic in the workplace, the language-specific heroes can certainly play a major role in how audiences view them. See, this woman's problem is she watches these movies.
She's autistic.
Yeah, that's it. But it's her autism that makes her view movies about superheroes fighting a major villain and put them in a workplace environment. Why? Why are you thinking of office work while these guys are fighting on another planet? Like, what the fuck?
You're thinking of Iron Man as a CEO of whatever company, and
these people just want every film to be an analogy for their own life. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And this woman is seeing Mantis in herself and being like, oh, I self-doubt myself too. I don't like that there's a film where there's a woman who self-doubts herself. Like, because it's calling out.
Include Kamala Khan in the future MCU.
Kamala Khan.
She's Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Yeah.
I mean, if they do it good, I won't be against it. I don't give a fuck as long as it's done well. But if it's done shitty, I'm gonna be like, this sucks.
If they're gonna focus so much on her being Muslim and her being the first Muslim superhero.
I mean, I understand she is Muslim, so you're gonna see Muslim family life in the movie. But if it's all about like, if they have lines where somebody says, "Well, as a Muslim,"
I draw power from the Quran.
Shitty writing. But I don't mind when people add diversity and things like that in movies if it's subtle and done well. You know what I'm saying? Then I don't care. But that's where Marvel and the comics are failing right now, is because they're doing it way too overtly. Marvel has always been about diversity. I mean, in the 70s, they created black heroes and women heroes, and they were always trying to add diversity. The difference is they had good writers then who would do it in a very subtle way, where the story didn't focus on them being a minority or, a woman. It focused more on the regular plot.
Is what it is.
Yeah, basically. And Disney bought them out, so maybe it's Disney themselves doing it.
I hate this. They're buying everything out.
Yeah, they are buying everything.
They just bought that deal with Fox. They bought part of Fox.
The only reason I like that is because I'd like the Marvel universe to be united in films. But that's the only reason I would like that, because now they can get X-Men and Fantastic Four back into the Marvel universe, which is a good thing. But
yeah.
But Disney is buying everything, man. They're going to have a monopoly of franchises soon.
Look at the next paragraph. She's gonna debunk herself in this next paragraph.
Okay. Curiously and perhaps fortunately, Mantis is the only female character in the MCU who consistently doubts her strength. That's because that's her character. Yep. Gamora, Okoye, Black Widow, and Scarlet Witch rarely. That's because it's not their character. Gamora is one of the galaxy's top warriors. Okoye is one of Wakanda's top warriors. Black Widow is one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s top warriors. And Scarlet Witch is, she has these amazing powers.
She warps fucking reality.
Yeah, she warps reality, and it's just not in her character to be like, self-doubt. Well, she wasn't raised a slave, so.
Actually, she did doubt herself at some point, right? In the previous movies.
She doubted herself in the Avengers. She didn't want to take the gem out of him or something, right? Because she was like, "Oh, I can't do it" or something, right? She was
gonna kill him.
And also it was also
I guess it's not doubt, but it's more like she
also when Crossbones blew himself up, she flew him up, or she lifted him up so he would blow up in the air, and she, like, the deaths of those people, she really took
Yeah,
know,
took the
hard.
heart. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this woman is really bad at analyzing films, I guess. She keeps trying to put herself in it. That's why.
yeah.
This seemingly insecurity is a character trait belonging specifically to Mantis. But why? Why her? In every scene in which Mantis employs her powers, especially against the strongest being in the universe. Yeah, obviously you have some self-doubt when you think it on the strongest being in the universe. I like Mantis. I like Mantis in the comics, and I was really excited when I heard you were going to add her to Guardians of the Galaxy too.
I think the only Asian chick I don't like is that one chick. What was that one that was added to Spider-Man? Forgot her name. Silk Spider. I don't like her.
Oh, Silk. I liked her at first, but then that went down the hole of SJW-ness as well. But the first few issues were pretty good until they restarted the series and, again, went down that SJW hole. Thanos and the literal planet Ego, her abilities work as well as one could hope they would work. So what's with all her self-doubt? You really don't know? Have you watched the movie? Like, how did you not? Self-doubt? I mentioned it right off the bat, and I never even thought of it before. Just the second she mentioned she had self-doubt, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then, like, sticks out even more considering her insecurity isn't rooted in her comic book counterpart. Yeah, she's quite different from her. She even has different powers and a different background story. So I mean, it's totally different. In the comic books, Mantis is highly skilled in martial arts with powers of energy projection, astral projection, accelerated healing, and the empathic. Oh, they didn't say emphatic this time. Nope. Ability we've seen on screen. Comic book Mantis portrays a determined personality and consistently defends other female characters. Defends other female characters.
Just other female characters, though.
She just, oh god,
no male
for whatever.
characters.
Yeah, maybe now in the comics because now it's all SJW. So maybe that. Yeah. Maybe she's talking about recently, but I mean, Mantis has been a character since the 70s.
Yeah, and also it's been clear for a while that Marvel aren't just copying their comic books and making them.
They're trying to translate it as accurately, but not super accurate because you can't go into that whole background. So she has actually a very intricate background story of her being the Celestial Messiah and all this, the Celestial Madonna and all this shit. It goes so deep. There's no way they're gonna fit that in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dancing and it also depowers some characters too.
Yeah. Which
I mean, Spider-Man in the comics is a lot more, powerful and faster than when you see him in the movies or anything.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job, but I mean, in the comics, Spider-Man can pick up like a school bus and throw it at someone. Like.
Remember that awful '90s Spider-Man series? He had his ass kicked like every episode.
Yeah. I remember that.
I'll save you. Whoop! No, I won't.
Oh, somebody was always saving him or something.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I wasn't.
I also noticed too there was a lot of homoerotic things on there. Like, what's with all the bear hugs? It's so gay.
That's because they couldn't show so much violence, so they couldn't constantly show people punching each other, so they'd have to do.
Yeah, but two guys rubbing each other, that's gay.
It's not that gay. What about MMA?
Well, it's different.
Why is it different? They're fighting.
It's different.
It's different. I won't push you on that too much. Let's move on. Sorry, I
comic book Mantis portrays a determined personality. I think.
Wait, did I move this? Sticks out more. I read that part right. Comic book Mantis portrays a determined personality and consistently defends. Oh, okay. Yeah. For whatever reason, the MCU rendition of Mantis stripped her of all physical ability and fiery personality, opting to introduce Mantis to a subservient character abused by Ego for her singular power, because that's more interesting, I think.
Yeah. And because it fit the story, right?
This is where this woman fucks up, because what they're doing is showing the diversity in characters, how characters are different. Yeah. If we had another physical, powerful character that can do martial arts, we have that. We have Gamora, we have Black Widow. Those two characters are very confident. They're strong. They can kick ass. They're
Okoye now.
Yeah, Koya too. Now we're gonna add another character that does the same exact thing.
Nebula does that too, right?
Nebula as well. Yeah. So it's like we have enough of these female characters that are tough and great at fighting. We don't need another one. You know what I'm saying? This actually makes it more interesting that they changed Mantis to be this more mental character, more mind-powered character, and
she's more unique this way. But it's only good if it's unique when she wants it to be.
And on top of that, this is a multi-movie franchise. We've only seen her in 2 movies, and this isn't even one of the movies where she's like a main character like she is in the other movies. So give it time for her to grow. You know what I'm saying? She might grow into a kick-ass character. They're not giving her that time. Well, I was not happy with Mantis's portrayal because you're retarded.
Yeah.
That character has nothing to do with Mantis. I can understand that if this person's a comic book fan and the character wasn't portrayed, I can understand that aspect, but she's not using that aspect. She's not saying I'm a fan of the comic book character and I don't like that they changed it. She's just saying that it's sexist, basically.
There she's quoting apparently the guy who made.
Oh,
Mantis.
she's not saying herself. I see. Well, I was not happy with Mantis' portrayal. Like that character has nothing to do with Mantis. I will say that I like the film Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 quite a bit overall. They're doing good stuff, and I enjoyed my night at the movies so long as I turned my brain off to the fact that that's not Mantis up there. They're using this as an example for this character, but the same thing happened with Rocket Raccoon's creator, because they changed the story so much and his character a little bit. The character is kind of similar, but it's a little different. And they changed his entire background story, so that guy was upset about it.
Yeah, well,
I remember him coming out when that movie came out and saying that he was upset with the way they portrayed him, and I was like, well, it's a movie. You got to expect that things are going to change.
Tends to happen, yeah.
Like in the comics, Rocket Raccoon is from a planet of anthropomorphic animals, whereas in the movie they made it that he was an actual raccoon. They got enhanced by alien technology and stuff.
Well, look at Scarlet Witch,
which makes more sense.
And Quicksilver,
Scarlet Witch and
supposed to be
Quicksilver.
Magneto's children.
Yeah, they're mutants, but in the movie they made it that they got their powers from one of the gems because
they're enhanced.
Yeah, but that's understood just because of the licensing. They couldn't make them mutants because they didn't have the license for the mutant term.
Yeah, but if they do mix with
they could do
since they had that deal with Fox, it might be an awkward situation because there's the Quicksilver in that one, and Magneto too.
Well, I think if Disney takes the Fox characters and makes the MCU version of X-Men, I think they're restarting. I don't think they're gonna keep the past stories. I think they'll start it over. They'll probably keep Deadpool and just make X-Men movies as if the X-Men already existed, or they might do a past one like they're doing with the Captain Marvel movie, takes place in the 90s.
Yeah.
So they might do something like that with the X-Men.
Origin movies. I'm sick of seeing those.
Yeah, I agree. I think
just filler. I mean, come on, we've seen let's see, 2 origin movies for Spider-Man, 2 origin movies for Batman. Enough of that.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's okay if they're introducing a new character that hasn't been in film before and is obscure, like people don't know. But like, if
it was like 50 years later, maybe you could do that. But it's still, even those Raimi films are still pretty recent in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not that old. And but like to do that with characters, like if they bring in Fantastic Four and X-Men, we've seen Fantastic Four's origin story already. We've seen X-Men, how they got together. We don't need that. They can just start it as if they exist, as if they had existed but haven't.
Fantastic Four, where they made Johnny Storm black.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't care that they made him black. I just cared more that the movie fucking sucked balls. It wasn't interesting at all.
I like the other one with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans before he was, but the Silver Surfer one was awful.
Yeah, the only things I liked about that movie was Silver Surfer himself. He came out kind of cool, but the plot itself sucked. Galactus being some like mist creature from space, that sucked horribly. Like, what was the point of that? I really don't know a different character yet. In speculating as to why Mantis's MCU incarnation has been so watered down, you don't need to speculate. It's pretty simple to figure out, especially evident in her insecurity. Screenwriters James Gunn, Christopher Marcus, and Stephen McFeely may have felt that Mantis's lack of confidence served some kind of narrative purpose. Yeah, it's not some kind of
no. They were the screenwriters. They didn't feel that. They made it that way.
Yeah. They didn't do it to serve some kind of narrative. It served a narrative purpose. It was interesting and it built character development. That's good character development.
Yeah,
that's good, interesting plot writing. Like
yep.
This woman don't want the characters to be interesting, like at all. But if so, what was the narrative purpose? For the character to be interesting and have adversity in their abilities. Like, what the fuck? If it was to remind audiences that the villains are strong, which did that line of dialogue really need to fall to a female character? Oh, but it would have been fine if it fell on a male character. That's basically what they're saying.
That's how it works, right? Yeah.
Well, it fell on her because she is the character who has lack of confidence. You know what I'm saying? If Iron Man had said it, it wouldn't have been so impactful or made much sense because he's not a self-doubting character. Imagine Drax saying it. Drax is overconfident. He's not going to be like, he's too powerful. No, he's just going to keep stabbing even though the blade's not going through the skin. He'll just keep doing it. Another option, and perhaps most concerning, is that the male screenwriters, absentmindedly penned Mantis's seemingly throwaway line of dialogue after being conditioned by lifetimes of hearing women underestimate themselves or apologize for their own abilities in the workplace.
Yeah, I doubt
they're not
that
in an
very-
office, asshole. Like they're fighting a super powerful being, and it's a character who has self-doubt, which makes
also-
it interesting.
Just to insinuate that these screenwriters who have a bunch of experience and who know very well that they're writing a screenplay for one of the biggest grossing movies that year are writing a line there just without thinking about it, I doubt that.
I doubt it. It's called good writing. That's what
Yes.
it is. And making characters interesting, because her character would not stick out or be interesting at all if she was just like the other male.
She's another karate chick. Wow, yeah.
Like really, to be honest, Black Widow, Okoye, and well, I like Gamora. She's kind of interesting, but Okoye and Black Widow are not very interesting.
Nope.
They try to talk about they want to make a Black Widow movie, and I'm like, whatever. If they made a Gamora movie, I'd be like, that might be cool. You know what I'm saying? Because she has more than just being a powerful character. You know, she
She used to be an antagonist of Iron Man back when Iron Man first started.
And Adam Warlock before she teamed up with him later on. The screenwriters may have written Mantis's lines thinking simple and instinctively. No, it's not simply or instinctively, not at all. It's probably very well thought out in making the character interesting and following in her character's her personality, right? Because that's her personality. If she didn't act that way, then there would be something weird, right? You'd be like, well, how did she gain all this confidence? All of a sudden, she's been kind of lacking confidence this whole time. All of a sudden, she's like, yeah, I got this. You know, like doesn't work.
Out of my way, bitches.
Without any story as how she gained her confidence. You know,
that would make sense. Huh?
That this is how women speak, except that all the other women don't speak this way. Because it's how they've heard women speak. Yeah, that's dumb. She's not taking into account that all the other characters don't speak this way. You know what I'm saying? All the other female characters do. Although there are, instead of thinking that, they're trying to make this woman seem like a woman, they could be like, well, they're trying to make this woman seem different from the other women, you know, and have her own personality. But they're not thinking, she's not thinking that. Although there are also the same men who have written lines for Gamora and Black Widow, so it seems to be a Mantis-specific issue. Yeah, now you say it rather than a female character issue. What's the point of this article then? You just destroyed the entire article yourself.
Good job. You found the answer to your own question.
Although there are also come on. You could have just ended this article in one sentence from the beginning by writing that, by just saying, hey, she seems to lack confidence, but maybe it's just to make her different than the other female characters.
Yeah, maybe it's part of her character.
Wow. Rather intentional or unintentional, Mantis's consistent self-doubt is problematic. No, it's not. No. Because there's the other female characters you could look towards if you don't like her for being for lacking self-confidence. Wow. Women and young girls deserve role female models.
Role female models.
This chick writes, man, first she fucked up in
emphatic
female models.
Yeah.
Yeah, she fucked up emphatic.
Emphatic. Yeah, she
empathic by writing emphatic, and then now she's saying role female models.
That knows emphatic. Yeah.
This chick, this is why you can't take this article seriously. This woman can't even write an article.
And then she ends the article with "sorry, not sorry."
Yeah, don't underestimate themselves in any capacity. Sorry, not sorry. So basically, you're saying all female characters in all movies should never doubt themselves in any capacity. That's boring.
And again, that sentence, women and young girls deserve female role models. I'll just fix that for her, who don't underestimate themselves in any capacity. So, such as Black Widow, Okoye, Gamora, Nebula.
Such as every other female character in the movie.
Like and the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. who's female.
Even if you just want to go by Guardians of the Galaxy, they have two female characters in there. One is strong and confident. One isn't. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't want to look up to Mantis for her abilities, look up to Gamora. You have them in there. Wow.
Yeah, but Gamora is green and no one can identify with her just because she's a different race.
This article is almost mind-blowing, right? It's almost fucking it's insane. Like, wow.
It's just like people who need to go wah 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 wah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, another strong female role. How about the ant or the wasp? I should say.
Wasp, who is more capable.
I really need to watch that movie.
Oh my god, Ant-Man was so good. Watch it.
Yeah. We got Amy to watch it because she hadn't seen it, and we watched it together.
It was so good. You gotta see it.
It's really good. Check it out before the second one comes out.
I like Paul Rudd.
really fun.
He was a good choice.
It's just a
Yeah, he's a great choice for
it's a fun movie in general, right? It's funny.
Yeah.
It's action packed. You know, it's tense.
I
it
love the
has tense-
concept of him being able to get really, really small and like making friends with the ants and shit. That was cool.
Yeah, that's so cute as
It
well.
was really cool.
Anthony.
When Stan Lee created Ant-Man originally, he wasn't a superhero. It was kind of like a sci-fi story he wrote about a man who turned small and then he's being chased by ants and all these other characters.
Yeah.
And then eventually he turned him into a superhero. But originally it wasn't meant to be a superhero. You know?
I think that was the same thing with like even Superman. You know, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, they used to get bullied a lot in school. They made this character that was a psychopathic monster that would just kill, you know, and dominate the earth.
I don't think that's exactly how it went.
Well, look it up, the Superman. Look it up. Actually, you know, it's almost time for it's actually the 80th anniversary of Superman's creation.
Oh, really?
So,
wow.
yeah. He was made in 1938, so next June.
I thought it was 1931, no?
No, 38.
Ah. I'm going to look it up. And if you're wrong, I'm going to boot you from this. Nah, I'm just
You may try.
You may try, but I'll just come back in. Ha ha ha. Let's see.
All right, well, guys, I'm gonna head off. It's getting pretty late here.
All right, Levy.
No, you're right. 1938, June.
Have fun. It was nice having you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for having me on, and you guys take care. Have a good rest of the stream.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So it's funny was Superman, the first movie, was released in 1978. So that was like the 40th anniversary. So now the 80th anniversary is coming. They should have had
They
a
tend
movie.
to release the movies on the anniversaries of the superhero, like the 25th or the 20th.
Yeah.
Like I
They
think
should really
the
do
first
that more.
the
That's
first Spider-Man film came out like in 2002, and Spider-Man came out in
1962.
1962. So
Yeah.
it was like the 40th or something, and then the Amazing Spider-Man came out in 2012, which was probably the 50th, I think.
Yeah. So it's weird. There's no Superman movie coming out this year. They should have really planned that out. It would have been very nice. So Vulpes, talk to us. Tell us things. What's up with you? How's your day been?
It's been good.
Yeah. Do you play video games? I see you have a Fallout avatar, so you're a gamer?
Yeah, I like that's probably my favorite game, Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, I have that game. I can't get into the Fallout series. There's just too much to do, and I get lost in that.
Well, it's
and
not like
eventually
the other Fallouts. The thing with Fallout New Vegas is it's got like gray morality to it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's what I really like about it. It's almost reminiscent of reality, you know.
Yeah. In the end,
Like,
though,
you got
there's just way too much to do, and I get lost in all the little things to do and picking up all these tiny little things everywhere. And then
that's how I was when I first played it. I
Yeah.
have like you know, I have OCD in some ways.
Yeah, I do with game. Well, in games, I do. I'm a big collector in games. Like I like games where you collect stuff, and I go crazy in collecting everything you can in a game. So a game like that,
It might be just my zodiac sign because you know I'm a Virgo. Because Virgos, they tend to be very like OCD about.
Do you believe in astrology, that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I mean, after being through so many crazy things in life, I starting to believe in astrology.
How old are you? Or if you don't want to say exactly, like, you know, what's your age range?
30.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm 39.
You're 30. You sound like you're 12.
Hey, Amy's also 30.
We're old, my friend.
I like learning people's age because you get an idea of, you know, what they know or what they've experienced and stuff. Because, you know, like I say, with people like in my age group, we understand references to certain things, you know what I'm saying? And then the younger people don't. So it's nice to know someone's age.
Yeah,
30
that's
is not
very
so far
true.
off. So I feel like people who are 30 are still within a decade of me. So they understand most references and stuff.
Did you ever check out that Cobra Kai series? It's pretty amazing.
I watched the first 2 episodes. I haven't continued it yet, but I will. The first 2 episodes.
You get like a free trial for 30 days. I just did that recently. I'm gonna cancel before the end.
Yeah, I've done that with Amazon a few times to watch some shows that they have.
I just like how unpolitically correct William Zabka's character is. You know,
Yeah.
Johnny.
I noticed that in the first 2 episodes. That was pretty cool. But so far,
it's like that, you know, this show is like Devin Tracy, the series. That's why I love it.
Devin Tracy, the series. But oh yeah, so you're an
Look at
AIU
the
fan,
You're
right?
on the third episode, I think, like where the fat chick tries to join, and he says, then he lets her in. He says,
I haven't
she's
seen it.
complaining about people like cyberbullying her, and he says, those guys are pussies. They just go online and anonymously.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Devin's stance on anonymity.
You like you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yes, I'm a hypocrite. Well, we're all hypocrites.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so you're an AIU fan, huh?
Oh yeah, I love the guy. He's amazing.
How long have you been a fan of his?
I'd say about like 2016 or even 2014. I think the first video I watched was what was that one video?
It was 4 years ago. That's when he started. Basically, he started 4 years ago. Like
he started in 2013, actually.
Yeah, it was like 4.5 years ago. So yeah, it's been a half year.
So it's getting close to the 5th anniversary of AIU.
Yeah.
So that's a milestone.
In October, I did a 4th anniversary stream in October, but it didn't work as well as I wanted it to. But it still worked.
You gotta do it by divisibles of 5 or 10, usually for anniversaries.
You might be blowing up your cover. I might be thinking of who you are now. I'm not going to say that. But I think I know who you are now, just because you said that. Boom, boom, boom. But maybe not.
No, that's just how it works. That's why they release these movies out by 5 or 10.
Yeah, but think of marriages. People celebrate every anniversary. They just celebrate it more special on certain ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that is true.
Yeah. And Devin's not really like a movie or something. You could celebrate Devin every year.
Well, you could make a biopic about his life.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to do all that. I was gonna ask something, but my brain's kind of shot right now because I smoked some weed.
Yeah, me too.
Amy, you have any questions for Vulpus?
No, not really. But you're gonna come back, right?
To what? No, I'm not leaving.
No, not you. Him. You'll come back, right? You'll come back and hang out with us again, right?
Yeah. You can come back and hang out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have him on
I
my
didn't
channel.
come too late to the stream, did I? Or
Nah, don't sweat it. It's cool. We're just reading articles till you came, so that's cool.
Yeah, we're just.
Did you hear about them wanting to make what's his? Mr. Sinister from the X-Men? I heard they're gonna have like a female, like a Miss Sinister. I heard somewhere.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time we were streaming, and I haven't heard of it, but that is weird. Why make a female Mr. Sinister? Huh? Why did they do that? Right? It's kind of weird. Like there is already enough female characters in comic books you can translate. Why change one? You know what I'm saying? So weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why they add. I hate when they do shit like that, like mid-season of a show or in the next movie. Obviously, unless someone dies or whatever. But like when there's a total different character, like it's a total different actor. I hate when they do that. It just ruins the entire vibe.
I hate when they do that for not a good reason, but I mean, sometimes there is a good reason, like maybe the actor left or something. You know what I'm saying? You can't do anything.
Well, you can't do anything about it, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. I understand.
There's also some reasons, like what happened with Terrence Howard with the Iron Man series that we were reading the other day. Well, at least from what I heard from Terrence Howard's viewpoint, was basically that Robert Downey Jr. wanted a cut of his money. So they told him, like, oh, we're gonna have to cut your money by a whole eighth or something like that, and it was going to go to Robert Downey. So I can understand where that would upset.
Yeah.
Well, they tend to increase like the actor's salaries the longer they do a film. It's like, I mean, RDJ, he's getting paid like almost like $1 billion.
Oh yeah, he's getting paid crazy money. But
it's like that with series too that go on for a long time, like The Walking Dead. I'm sure the guy that plays Rick Grimes is making a big shitload of money. I mean, I'm sure at first the kid, when he was first doing it, he was okay with any price. But when you do a show for so long, you start getting sick of it. You have to have some kind of incentive for them to stay.
But from what Terrence Howard says is that for the second movie, Robert Downey Jr. himself went to the producers and told them to cut his pay so that he can get paid more. And that was why Terrence Howard, decided not to come back, because basically they were paying him an eighth of what he was getting paid for the first movie so that Robert Downey Jr. can make the rest of that money for himself, which is pretty douchey, But the contract was fucked up from the beginning because Terrence Howard was basically getting paid way too much in the first place. So. But I don't think he should have gotten paid an eighth of what he was getting paid. That's a crazy.
Oh my god! Why does he even need more money? Why would it haven't even?
Why would they what?
Why would Robert Downey Jr. even do that? He's already.
Yeah,
making
that's
so
why
much
I'm
money.
saying it from. I'm not going to say it's true because that's only what I read
That's
from
hearsay?
Terrence Howard's point.
Yeah.
No, it's from Terrence Howard's point of view. Maybe
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
correct, maybe he's telling bullshit. Who knows? You know,
Yeah.
so it might not be
Yeah.
true, but that's from his.
Could be
from his
true. I
point.
mean, he was a drug addict for many years.
Oh, was he? I don't know that about him. I don't know much about Terrence Howard, so that's what I'm saying. It could be
I'm
bullshit.
talking about Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, he was a drug addict for very many years. Yeah.
He probably doesn't want to do it anymore, but they're like, no, we need to keep you. Can you imagine they fucking changed Tony Stark? No one could ever do as good of a job. As
I think
RDJ.
they're going to kill him off so they can bring in someone else as Iron Man, not Tony Stark.
What?
But I mean, it's got to end somewhere. He's got to leave at some point.
Why?
Originally, what they were saying was since they wanted to continue it, they're going to make it like a James Bond thing where the characters,
Mhm.
the actors would change, and you're just going to have to accept that because
Yeah.
too, right? So I don't know. I think some people would prefer they reboot it. Some people would prefer they didn't. I think I prefer they not reboot it and just continue the story. Fuck it, I'll accept the new actors. You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
What do you think of Idris Elba's chances of being James Bond? You know, the black guy.
Yeah, Idris Elba.
For James
I wouldn't
Bond,
mind him. I just
yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I'm not a huge James Bond fan, so I wouldn't mind. I'm like, whatever. You know. I know a lot of people are upset about it, but I don't care.
not really. I think more people are upset about that female Bond. Like they want to have like a Jane Bond. What the fuck were you
James
thinking?
Bond. That's weird.
I-
Yeah, that would
I
be
think the chick from the X Files they want to have is Jane
Gillian
Bond.
Anderson. She's way too old.
Yeah.
People even bitched
It's
about.
it's just a pathetic way to piggyback off James Bond's success. Just be a female, you know.
I mean, people even bitched about Daniel Craig being James Bond as well because he was blonde, and you know James Bond's always been a brunette. There was some people.
I think it's because of his
that.
characterization. Because you know, for a long time, like in the movies, people think James Bond is like suave and all that stuff.
Oh, Amy. Oh, okay. All right. She muted. It was echoing off the other one, feedbacking, because she signed in on her phone or something. Still there? Opus?
Yep.
Still there? Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. Just
There's 2 Amy's in the room.
yeah.
Ah,
When you switch to your phone or whatever, it
I
caused
didn't
this
mute it
crazy-
on time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
No, not even that. It caused the crazy feedback. It was like
I heard it.
like super loud. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. Like what's going on?
I heard that shit and I was like, oh man, because every time I do that, it makes that
Mm.
noise. Fucking sucks. Sorry about that, guys.
Cool.
They're gonna bring back a lot of people. Someone's gonna get a hold of that time stone.
Yeah, I think when you have long franchises, it's not that big of a deal to change characters to maybe a different sex or
Yeah.
color. I mean, franchise been going on for a while. You can add a little flavor. It's when you like first adapt something, you should
We gotta reintrigate people's interest somehow.
yeah, exactly, and try to spice it up.
Mhm.
Right? 'Cause you're seeing the same thing over and over again, basically. So you got to
Yeah.
spice it up somehow.
It's true.
But I think when you first adapt it, you should try to at least have some sort of accuracy in your adaptation.
Who do you think would make a good Tony Stark if they were to replace him right now?
Oh man, that would be a rough pick. I don't know.
Right?
I mean, anybody who would be able to do it would probably be too old, or like the same age as him. Like I was thinking Johnny Depp would probably do a good job at it, but he's just as old as he is. So like,
What about Benedict Cumberbatch?
But
oh,
he's Doctor
already
Strange.
Strange, yeah.
He could do both. Sometimes they do the same thing. the same movie.
He should just be all the characters.
Oh my god.
It's like
That'd
you know
be
how they
funny.
do those memes where they put like you sent me with the War Machine that it was
Oh,
all his
yeah.
faces on all the Avengers. They should do a movie that's like a meme like that.
Infinity War Machine.
Chrissy's back.
Hi, Chrissy.
Christy.
So there's been another shooting at a school, and
Oh yeah.
I'm bringing it up to say that I don't care to talk about it because it happens so often. What's the point? What's the point of even talking about it anymore, right? There's
hmm
not much else to say. People have said everything they needed to say after each one. So now it's up to the point where it happens so often. It's like, oh, whatever.
hmm
Oh, yeah, another one. All right. So
I
weird.
did hear they banned guns in somewhere. I don't know if it was like Denver or something like that. They've banned assault weapons.
That's a possibility. In just Denver, I think that would have to be more state, right? Than city.
Yeah, you gotta type it in. I don't remember where exactly, but it was a town or something. They banned assault weapons.
Use ban guns. WCSD changes dress code. Pro gun clothing. No, that's not it. Florida gun shows ban private sales in light of new city county ordinance. I don't think that's it either. Ban doors, not guns, to stop school shootings. What? What? Ban doors?
What does that mean?
That's weird. That's a weird one. I'm not even going to go into that though. So states ban bump stocks. Now, how do they enforce the law? That's actually a good question. Yeah, how would you enforce that? That's a question. It's a good start. Oh, here it goes. A lawsuit filed against Boulder assault weapons ban. I guess it's Boulder, Colorado that's doing it. Yeah, Boulder, Colorado passes assault weapons ban unanimously. That's if it's unanimous, that's going to be tough to overturn. This was, yeah, May 18th. On Tuesday, oh yeah, let me screen share this. We'll read this and find out what's going on with this. On Tuesday, the Boulder, Colorado City Council voted unanimously to outlaw, I'm reading ahead and shit, to outlaw possession of, I read assault for outlaw, that's like 4 words ahead. Outlaw possession of assault weapons, magazines containing more than 10 rounds, and bump stocks while raising the age 21. Wow, while raising the age 21, those allowed to purchase. This person writes like a retard. Have you heard this sentence? While raising to age 21, those allowed to purchase whatever is left.
Wow,
that's a fucked up sentence. How do these people get to write articles? I don't get it.
Who's the publication?
The New America. This is a right wing. It's like, still, I don't care what wing you are. You should be able to write a fucking sentence properly.
No shit, I agree.
If you're gonna write an article, I don't care if you're an online.
I'm just surprised they would publish it.
Yeah, do they not have editors to look at? I guess not. Maybe this is like one of those. Maybe there's a site where they just let people publish it straight out. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Which is dumb. Yesterday, Mountain State's legal foundation filed a lawsuit in federal court. Said MSLF attorney Cody Wisniewski, this ban is tantamount to Boulder attempting to stop drunk driving by banning Subarus, or by banning alcohol would be a more accurate analogy, right? Stop drunk driving by banning Subarus. It's more like stop drunk driving by banning alcohol. That makes more sense to the analogy. This guy is just really dumb. It accomplishes nothing other than making criminals of law-abiding citizens. Well, it's strange they use it like that, but it goes both ways. Like if you made something illegal legal now, then you're turning criminals into law-abiding citizens. Right? So, I mean, it's weird that they use that, but in other situations they switch it around. Is bias, basically. The ban, which took effect immediately, forbids the sale or possession of semi-automatic rifles that look like military weapons.
Was that okay?
Yeah. It's weird to say that look like military, but I guess they're not military weapons, but they look like it, so that's what they're banning. Sporting features such as a pistol grip, a folding or telescopic stock, or a barrel shroud, along with bump stocks and magazines holding more than 10 rounds. I'm not against banning bump stocks, but like they said about that other article that said how would we enforce it, that's a good point, because you can customize bump stocks. They're easy to make. It's not a really hard thing to make. You can make it yourself. The only problem, the thing I see with that though, is this does limit some things that some people don't go through the trouble of doing that. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that's going to help, is that some people aren't going to go to the trouble to customize it themselves. The ban passed over numerous objections, was justified by 2 members of the city council in an article published days before they voted for it. Council members Sam Weaver and Bob Yates wrote that they were going to vote for the ban, 1, because it reflects the values of a majority of our community, which is fine. 2, because it will make us incrementally safer. That's to see if it does. 3, because it's the right thing to do. That's also objective. But I mean, when I'm saying these things, I'm not disagreeing with this stuff. I'm just being unbiased, right? And just reading it and saying, because it's the right thing to do is something you can argue. So I mean, you'd have to argue that. And because it will make us incrementally safer is something you have to wait and see if it actually does. These excuses should sound awfully familiar to readers to this website. On April 9th, reported on the She's choking. She's choking. Don't die. Don't die. On April 9th, reported on the unanimous approval of a nearly identical ban on assault weapons by the Village Board of Trustees of Deerfield, Illinois. That's close to Chicago, right? Deerfield? I think so. That ban was justified by the mayor on the basis that it would increase the public's sense of safety. In other words, both bans are feel-good legislations that have nothing to do with logic, history, or provable effectiveness, but have everything to do with virtue signaling and promotion of an anti-gun ideology. In other words, both bans are feel-good. I guess that's opinion. I guess you'd. A lot of these people that are pro-gun tend to use like short-term statistics to be like, oh, look, this doesn't work, but it's in the span of like 5 years, and it's like, well, some of these things may have long-term effects, and you can't really judge that fast. Like during the Clinton era, the banned assault rifles, that only lasted about 8 years, I think. But we've seen through statistics in the past that doing things like this doesn't cause any change for, unless it's over like 10 years. It's a long-term kind of change.
Or bring up some other stupid point about knife killings going up.
Yeah, those are always dumb. Just as in Boulder, Deerfield's ban is facing court challenges on various bases, including violations of 2nd, 4th, and 5th and 14th Amendments to the Constitution. Are they going to explain what those violations are? I guess not. The Boulder City Council expanded on its reasoning behind the unanimous vote on the ban, claiming that just because a rifle is semi-automatic rather than fully automatic is no reason not to ban them. The automatic firing mechanism of a fully automatic rifle does not present a significant increase in the lethality of the M16, except for that it shoots faster, but used by the U.S. military up until recently when compared to the semi-automatic AR-15. When compared, that's a different story. After all, claimed the rationale, the military trains its personnel to use repeated single shots, which are more accurate. That is very true, though. The first shot is always the most accurate. The longer you hold down the bullet, the less accurate the trigger, the less accurate it gets. And bump stocks are banned because, said the council, they increase the weapon's rate of fire. So does rate of fire matter or not? It definitely does. The rate of fire definitely. Oh shit, I'm getting it. Yo. All right, give me a minute. I'll be right up. Amy?
Yes.
I don't know if you want to, but would you mind continuing reading a little bit? I'll be like 2 seconds. Okay, I'll be right back.
Give me 1 second. I gotta get to the computer.
Okay, I'm here. This is going to be really hard for me to read. Where am I?
I forgot.
Oh my god, I was choking earlier. I had to mute myself.
What were you snacking on?
I was having like oats.
Yeah, I snack on a lot of Cheerios.
Cheerios are yummy. I'm down with Cheerios. Okay, does rate of fire matter or not? Inconsistency aside, neither of these claims have anything to do with the reality of mass shootings. According to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting, on the criminal use of firearms, handguns were used in 19 times as many murders than rifles were in 2016. Handguns killed 9 times as many victims as rifles, shotguns, and other guns combined. Do you see where I am, Alfie?
Yeah, I understand that, but there's also a point of reductionism, right? Where it's like, well, yeah, but if we ban rifles, then even if it's less, even if handguns kill more people, you're still reducing death regardless. So that works out.
I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom.
Yeah, no problem. Amy, I think I sent you a DM on Discord if you want to read that.
Yeah.
Continue this. This was the same result from a study in 2004 commissioned by Department of Justice during a discussion of extending the 1994 Clinton ban, which I was just mentioning, on assault rifles. The study found that the ban didn't lead to any measurable decrease in gun crime, but it didn't go on very long. And I think you need something like this to go on for more than a decade before you can really say if there's any change. Because they banned it and there was no change in 10 years. But these laws are not retroactive. So the same people, this is why there's no change. There wasn't any rise or fall. This is because these laws are not retroactive. So the same people who had assault rifles at the beginning when this law came in to when they ended the law were the same people who had it the whole time. So you know what I'm saying? So there was no new ones going out or, you know, or drop in assault rifles. There was just still the same assault rifles out there. And that's why you don't see it. But over time, if you give it a long enough time, you will see a drop because there will be no new ones going out. And then the older ones, you know, those people will die or they'll sell it or they'll, you know, get rid of it or whatever, you know, shit happens. That's the only way to really see it. The ban only lasted 10 years. So and like I said, there was no change at all in those 10 years. And that's, so you can't really tell if it would work or not. You definitely need longer time to know. The study found that the ban, well, I mean, it was good that there was no rise. So that's better. If we can keep it stable, that's better than it going up. You know what I'm saying? So in the end, it seems like it was at least half successful, right? The study of the ban didn't lead to any measurable decrease in gun crime, but it also didn't lead to a rise. As Adam Winkler, a professor at the UCLA Law School, noted in 2015, gun crime is overwhelmingly handgun crime. That is true. But like I said, we're going to have handgun crime, but we want to stop these mass shootings that are happening. And a large number of these mass shootings come from assault rifles. I mean, some are pistols too. But, you know, this is, I think first things first, right? Like, hey, we're having all these shootings at schools and at venues and shit with assault rifles. So, you know, you want to lower that first, right? But these facts, coupled with the lawsuit they knew would be coming, failed to deter the Boulder City Council from passing the ban. Noted, laws like this one are always more about scapegoating and virtue signaling than protecting public safety. The gesture is, in this case, is especially empty, not only because the ordinance does not extend beyond Boulder's borders, which is weird. This is a city ordinance. It's not state. That's very strange. There really is no way. That's just the wrong way to do it. There really is no way to enforce that. Anybody could just step out the city, buy these things, and come right back into the city, right? Are they going to close the borders of Boulder and check everyone to make sure they don't have bump stocks or assault rifles? Like, so yeah, this is just this is not a bad idea, but it's just the wrong way to do it, you know? Where was I? Shit, how did I get lost here? Passing the bill. Laws like this one are always more about scapegoating and virtue signaling than protecting public safety. The gesture in this case is especially empty, not only because the ordinance does not extend. Oh, I did read that, but because it probably will never take effect. Yeah, but you got to try regardless if it doesn't take effect or not. Under Colorado law, a local government may not enact an ordinance, regulation, or other law that prohibits the sale, purchase, or possession of a firearm that a person may lawfully sell, purchase, or possess under the state or federal law. This is where I'm saying where it's a mistake to do this city and not statewide, because yeah, they are right on that. Just as in Deerfield, Illinois, I keep thinking Deerfield sounds so familiar. I think it's really close to Chicago, but anti-gun council members in Boulder are wasting their time and taxpayers' money enacting an unenforceable ban on firearms. Yeah, even though they're coming from a different place than me, I agree with them in some cases. It is unenforceable and is pretty useless. I think they should have done it in a better way. The sad thing is they don't care about facts, history, state law, or logic, never entered into the decision to punish the innocent in their attempt to enforce their anti-gun ideology on their citizens. See, I don't agree with them on that point. I think these people are trying to do the right thing, but I think that they're just going about it in the wrong way.
Punish the innocent.
Strange, right? But this is obviously this is a right-wing publication. So
yeah.
The New America, that freedom shall not perish. Obviously, they're going to be biased in their thing, but you know they still have facts in there, so we can take those facts and look through the bias, right?
Yeah. That can take a while sometimes.
I'm gonna stop this, and we're just gonna go on for a little more, and then I'll end it.
All right, cool.
So what are you doing tonight, Amy?
I don't know. I just got home from the gym a little while ago. I might read my book and chill. And like I've been so tired. I kind of just want to go to sleep already, and it's not even 7 o'clock yet. It's like 6:15.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll watch a movie. Maybe I'll watch a movie tonight.
What movie? What do you think?
I don't know. Like,
or we can watch 2 more episodes of It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, we can do that right after this. If you want to do that, I'm down with that.
I'm cool with that. I guess we'll wait for Bolpis to come back and then end it. How's everybody in the chat doing?
What up, chat niggas?
I know Chrissy will probably pass out, but if you're going to be awake, Chrissy, if you want to wrap it with us, and anybody else.
Sorry?
Well, I was saying if Chrissy's going to be awake, she could join us to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's going to go to bed, and Marino too.
Yeah, so something the Hardcore Gentleman said is actually something that Chris and I talked about today, is that they need to tackle the mental health issue if they want to decrease school shootings. Because, yeah, I understand it's a gun thing too, but mental health is also important.
But this is the way I agree with that, but this is the way I see it. I think it's a both issue, and until we can control one issue, we should try to minimize their ease of,
exactly
killing people, and then you can always go back and say, all right, we've handled this issue, we can go back and reverse this law, because it is an issue. But since the issue's out there and we know it's not going to be an issue that's going to be handled instantly, then while that issue's out there, it's very dangerous. I kind of agree with the Devin thing, where Devin's mostly anti-gun, but he does have a compromise, and I agree with the compromise. Yeah, I agree with the compromise because I'm not fully anti-gun. I'm not very big on the issue. I don't care either way for myself, really. But I do agree that, let's keep handguns and shotguns and try to take away the things that cause mass death that people are using to go to schools and shoot up 18 kids in one fucking clip.
What a gong show that is.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. So
what a gong show that people are just so desperate for some kind of glory.
I think the best solution is to start working on a way to phase out guns and make them obsolete. But that's difficult. But I think, when I have this discussion with the pro-gun guys, they don't get what I'm saying. It's hard for them to see future-wise. They don't have a long-term plan. So I try to tell them, hey, we should work on non-lethal weapons that are just as effective as guns. You know what I'm saying? They shoot as fast and they take people out and are very effective. And then they go stun guns aren't effective. I'm not talking about stun guns. I'm talking about some fucking nebulous thing I'm talking about. It's not something that's actually happening. I'm just talking about guns. Yeah, those are pretty good, but they're not 100%. You can get hit by a beanbag gun and not drop. You're most likely going to drop, but there's a chance that you won't. Just like tasers, they're effective a lot of times, but sometimes there are those people who get tased by them and it doesn't have an effect on them. And they just keep coming at you. And that's why stun guns, aren't as effective as a gun. You shoot somebody, they're going to drop. There's also sonic weapons that people are working on, but they're too large right now if they could turn it smaller. But there's these sonic weapons that hit a frequency that makes humans
thing they love to cite, how Germany only has 3 people shootings a year or some shit.
Yeah, actually Germany's the one that has this. It's a giant sound cannon, and it resonates at a frequency that makes people vomit and pass out. You can't stay standing. It just totally throws off your equilibrium and you drop. And then at a lower frequency, it's so loud that it makes you run away from it instantly. You can't stay in the area of it. They use that for riots. They don't really use the frequency that makes you pass out. When there's riots or protests getting out of control, they'll come in with a tank with this huge satellite thing on top of it, and they shoot it at a really loud frequency where people just scatter. There's no way you could stay in there. It's just so loud it rattles my brain. But Vulpes, we are going to end this stream. Thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Yeah, and maybe we'll talk again sometime. I invite you on again. I have your email now, so if anything, I'll contact you today.
Thank you. I'm eating this omelet I got from IHOP the other day.
You what?
I'm eating anyways. I had this omelet from IHOP I got the other day.
Omelet from IHOP he got.
Oh. Okay.
Well, cool. Enjoy yourself.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for coming on. Amy, Ice, Billy, everybody who came on. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for everybody who's watching and contributing to the chat. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.